Jesus Christ. All right.
Okay.
I'm getting really, really mad, so I hope that it's fucking doing... I don't know, like, when it cut off.
It's looking like it's kind of fucking real jerky right here.
Oh, man. Please don't tell me that.
It could be buffering. Could just be buffering.
I'm hulking out.
You're not going to hulk out.
I might.
You're not going to hulk out.
Your shit's not even going. Look at that shit.
Yeah. It's what it's doing is it's buffering. Okay.
Why is it buffering? Oh, my shit. It's like, look, I got the yellow shit. I got... Error. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Well, fucking do it, YouTube. Come on.
So, what about our connection quality?
That's
it?
That's what I just read you.
Okay.
Zach says looks okay to me. So, I don't know. Well, this is making me...
It might take a second.
This is making me really, really annoyed. I'm really annoyed, but we'll see. I think Jen is watching too much gay porn on this PC. I wish.
That's what it is.
If I was watching gay porn, I'd be watching it on this PC.
She's
I have
watching
one over here.
shit like...
I don't do anything on this one except stream.
Yeah, she's watching some kind of shit like gay gangbangs, fucking bukkake by
Bitch,
Jack
you don't know my
Silver.
life.
What's that?
You don't know my life.
I don't know your life.
Even if I was watching that, I wouldn't tell you.
Yeah, I don't care what you watch. It doesn't bother me. You watch what you want to watch. Okay,
I like gay porn. I'm just saying.
I had to pull while all this shit was going on. I grabbed a damn pork shoulder. And
he grabbed it.
I grabbed that damn pork shoulder. It was
right off the pig.
It was thawing
no,
out,
it's
but
been
it didn't.
thawing all day.
Yeah, I put it in water to kind of speed up the thaw. I'm gonna fucking put that in the crock pot tonight. Turn it into carnitas. For
so that's what we're gonna have tomorrow.
Maybe.
All right.
We're gonna have carnitas for tacos.
Or maybe late. I'm not really supposed to eat after 6 or 7 o'clock at night, but if I get drunk enough, I'll just be like, whatever.
It won't be tonight. That shit's got to cook for like fucking 12, 13, 14 hours.
I had the granola.
I got other shit I can make. If you need something quick, I got other shit I can make.
I don't know. I'll think about it.
So how's the stream quality?
We haven't even got through this shit yet.
It looks okay. It looks a little blurry. I don't know.
I don't know. I still got yellow. Is there
any way you can refresh that? See what happens.
No.
See if you refresh that.
I can't. No, don't please don't.
All right.
I don't know. I'm not
scared.
Not doing that.
Constantly scared.
Yeah, because it'll fuck it up. Even more than fucked up than it already is.
Some people said they were
YouTube is trying to suppress my love for German expressionism.
Probably.
Exactly. Because I was like, all I was talking about was Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
Yeah.
So see, this is some more evidence in in detriment to your shit. It's like you feel like every time you talk about whatever you talk about, they're just kind of like, YouTube's turning them out. All I was talking about was fucking Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. That is not controversial in any respect. It's random, dude.
Okay,
it's
random. We got
Live
half of our audience back. Okay. Let's go ahead and start next on the list.
All right. So, like I said, my favorite movie from the 1900s to 1959, Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Gotta say.
Okay.
One, it's the weirdest.
I think it was long though.
No, it's not long.
Okay. All right.
A lot of silent movies were not really all that long. It's like they were like an hour 15 minutes. That was like hard shit to make.
Yeah.
I liked it because, like I said, I love the idea of taking everyone's... I love the idea of expressionism. We're taking everyone's
it's all fucking... that Bauhaus.
Yeah, well, we're taking everyone's, mental states and we're, we're projecting it outwards, to the environment. And I was really into... So everything, the fact that they had to build all those sets and they looked all fucking, skewed and shit, I love that. So, Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, probably my favorite movie from that time period. Although, like I said, there's some competition in that area. All right, so, like I said, that was 1900, 1959. So now we're doing top 20 from every decade because I could not narrow it down any further. And even at this point, I'm kind of bummed because I had to leave a lot of shit out.
Okay.
So we're just saying. So now we're talking about the 1960s.
We're going from 20 to 1?
Yes.
Okay.
Number 20, The Raven, 1963.
Yeah.
More a horror comedy. Not really based on... Boris Karloff was in this shit. Peter Lorre was in this shit. It was super fun. Like I said, I don't know if I'd call it a horror movie. It wasn't really scary. It was more of a comedy. But
I remember seeing it as a kid and loving it.
Yeah,
And it wasn't scary at all.
No, it's fun though. Yeah. It's super fun. And like I said, anything with like fucking Peter Lorre,
wizards and wizard type shit.
I was into that.
It was good.
All right, so we're going with that. Number 19. I don't know if a lot of you guys have seen this. Dementia 13. Also from 1963. This was a very, very early film from Francis Ford Coppola.
I didn't see it.
And it was kind of like, it's a thriller murder mystery more than I don't think it has a supernatural aspect, but there's a couple scenes in it that have like stuck with me, like since I was a kid, since I've seen it. And I actually watched it probably 2 years ago, and I liked it just as much. It's like, it's really, really good. Like if you haven't seen it. Number 18, probably the first, well, is it the first of one of like the Roger Corman, like Edgar Allan Poe adaptations? Because I guess the Raven was too. But this is another one. This is Tomb of Lygia from 1964. I fucking love all of the Roger Corman Edgar Allan Poe adaptations. They're all good.
Yeah.
Tomb of Lygia, not my favorite, but it's still pretty fucking good. I just admire how he could take like a nothing budget, and he probably shot the shit in like fucking 5 days or whatever. It's like, we're making a movie about an Edgar Allan Poe story, and it's like, we're just gonna, and it looked fucking good. I mean, for the 60s. So like I said, Tomb of Lygia is right up there. Number 17, I'm gonna get artsy fartsy on you. Hour of the Wolf. 1968. Ingmar Bergman, motherfucker.
I don't remember.
This is, now a lot of people will point to Persona, which was also, that was also a good flick too. Hour of the Wolf. I don't know if I would call it, I don't know what genre I would call it. It's kind of like a horror movie because it's like creepy as shit. I found it very creepy. Like fucking Max von Sydow was in this when he was very young. And it's Swedish, so he's like speaking Swedish in it. And it's basically about, he's like an artist, and he's like he's staying at this place with his wife, and he has all these weird fucking nightmares about these people that live, like they go to live on this remote island, and there's all these people that live on there that are like, and I don't know, I'm not like entirely sure if these people are real or not. Like he has a thing where it's like, oh, it's like the dude with the bird head, or it's like all this really weird shit, and he's like drawing them in his thing, and it's like super, super creepy, and there's like just really creepy imagery in it. You can tell that David Lynch was super into this movie. I mean, if you watch it, if you've never seen Hour of the Wolf, watch it, and especially if you're into David Lynch, because you will be like, oh man, that's where he got all this, like a lot of his ideas from, because it's like super, super creepy. Like there's like scenes like, oh, there's this woman, and like she pulls her face off and like puts her fucking eyeballs in the glass, and like dudes are like walking up walls randomly and shit like that. It's like super, super creepy.
Never seen it.
Yeah, it's good though. It's really, really good. So I don't know if you guys have seen it, but yeah, like check it out.
Badger says it's a great movie.
It is. It's fantastic. Hour of the Wolf is probably my favorite Ingmar Bergman movie. I know a lot of people have said like Persona, and I'll get into like Mulholland Drive like later on, but it's like, and I know that was like greatly inspired by Persona, like I said, because David Lynch was really into that shit. But I don't know. For my money, Hour of the Wolf is my favorite, just because it's the most like a horror movie, and it's really, really, really unsettling. So number 16, I'm going to go with another Edgar Allan Poe adaptation, Pit and the Pendulum. 1961. Yeah, I love all the fucking Vincent Price shit. I love all that kind of stuff.
You know what you forgot though?
What did I forget?
You forgot the Black Cat. That was back in the 20s or 30s.
That was, you know what? That was on my original list, but I had to take it off when I like that one too. But like I said, this was the problem that I had because I was trying to winnow it down to 20 for each thing.
I'm going to go ahead and add one of my favorites.
Thank you. Well, I was hoping you would.
And that was because you passed that era. All right. Fucking The Black Cat, Boris Karloff, Bela Lugosi. And this Boris Karloff plays this damn satanic officer. He was from World War I, wasn't it? World War I officer.
If I remember, sure.
Who sacrificed his own unit to death at a certain location out on the battlefield so he could go back there after the war and build this fucking castle on that location. And this fucking, it's this high tech for the day fucking like Art Deco damn futuristic castle. Spooky as shit. Automatic doors, intercoms, all kinds of shit. Fucking underneath the bottom of it, he had like this special storage area where he had all these beautiful women preserved inside these glass caskets. Well, one of his army buddies shows up looking for him. It was Bela Lugosi. Shows up to try to fucking challenge him about, I know you lost that battle on purpose. You know, turns out he's a big Satanist. He's having satanic parties, people going over, he's even fucking... This is before the Hays Code, so they could do all kinds of shit.
I want a satanic party.
Yeah. And turns out Lugosi wants to kill him for what he did to the unit, and he wants to know where his daughter is. And it turns out... And his wife, I think. His wife and his daughter. And fucking Lugosi killed the wife. He was sleeping with Lugosi's wife. He said she died, but I think he killed her. He had her preserved. And then he started screwing the daughter, who is now like in her fucking teens and late teens. And the daughter's the new woman. It's fucking bizarre, man. She's running around in this elegant kind of see-through fucking gown. Running around. She doesn't know anything about the outside world. Lugosi tries to get his revenge on his old fucking commander. To me, for those old 20s type movies, it was an early talkie. That one really stood out because it had weird ass fucking sexual relations with fucking women that you stole from your friends. Fucking had human sacrifice in a military fucking setting. Old army buddies meeting back up for fucking try to get vengeance or justice. And they're in this fucking futuristic satanic castle. This Art Deco type castle.
They got away with a lot of shit.
Got a lot of Hays Code. If the Hays Code had never come down, there'd have been a lot of badass movies. Way into the 30s
a lot
and
of
40s.
like way more fucked up horror movies would have happened earlier than the 1970s.
And and the Black Cat is not long, maybe not even 90 minutes.
Well, like I said, a lot of older movies,
about an hour.
It's like people piss and moan about movies are so long now, like nowadays, or like back in the old days they were like an hour and 15 minutes tops.
Yeah, and what was good about it is that it was fucking, in a weird way, it was kind of sexy. It was kind of a sexy movie in a way. Yeah, but fucking...
Ken mentions the Asphyx, which actually was on my list, but I had to take it off because I had too many. I wrote a big long blog post about the Asphyx on my Goddess of Hellfire post a couple of years back, so if you want to check that out, because that's a movie that a lot of people don't know about. It's a British film, and it's pretty fucking good. I really liked it, so if you haven't seen it, just might want to go check it out. All right, so where was I? So I was Pit and the Pendulum. Okay, so number 15, The Last Man on Earth, 1964, the first adaptation of Richard Matheson's I Am Legend, starring Vincent Price. Probably, okay, not even probably, definitely the most faithful to the book. Because really, they haven't made a real faithful to the book adaptation of I Am Legend. Because The Omega Man, while an awesome movie, is not super faithful to the book. And I Am Legend... with Will Smith in it was really not faithful to the book.
Not good.
Last Man on Earth.
I like Will Smith.
I do too. Like, it was an okay movie until the end. I didn't like the ending.
Should have been the Omega Man with Will Smith. It would have made a lot more sense. Serpent Surfer said that in The Raven, he brought this up. I just remembered it. There's also possible necrophilia, and I forgot that.
There was,
I did kind of get that feeling that he was...
Everything had to be, like, implication.
Yeah, I did get that feeling that he was preserving those women so he could have sex with them. That was some weird shit. That movie was...
There was a lot of weird shit
going on. That movie was horror way ahead of its time, but what was weird about it is that it still kind of remained classy, which that was the weird way that they did that shit back then. It kind of had a classy feeling to it.
Well, there was an art to...
Yeah, some weird shit.
I mean, you have to admire, like, the art behind, well, we want to put all this kind of, like, really scandalous shit in the movie, but we don't want to say it outright.
Yeah, and then we got to make it look fucking
like, kind of work around the shit.
Yeah.
So it's like, I really kind of respect the shit that you had to go through back then. Because nowadays you can just put whatever in a movie and no one will care. But it's like, back in the day, you had to, like, really work around, like, all the laws. And I mean, you could get into really big trouble for putting shit in a movie. So you had to like everything was like implication, which in a way kind of made them better, but I don't know. Like
he was tagging the mother-daughter team of his fucking from that he stole from his friend, and that was like I remember when I first saw that. I was coming out of the army, so I could kind of deal with this whole army buddy dynamic, and I'm like going, God, man, that motherfucker's fucked up. He steals the wife and the daughter from one of his subordinates and fucking, I guess, kills the wife. He didn't say he killed her. He said she died. But could you trust that dude? I don't know. I think he killed the wife. He killed the first one so he could get his hands on the daughter. I mean, just what I was thinking at the time. It was fucking bizarre.
I mean, possibly. Like I said, they left so many possibilities open because they had to write around all of these fucking regulations.
She died, Vitus. And I fucking remember weird shit. Yeah. And then he was praying out of a satanic Bible. It was fucking bizarre. And all these rich people showed up.
Brian Green said Vincent Price was good in everything. He was. Yeah, I will watch anything with Vincent Price in it. I fucking love Vincent Price.
Yeah. And seriously. Brian, Omega Man with Heston, fucking, it did rock. I
love that movie. It's not close to the book, but I love that movie anyway.
I fucking found out. Fucking Neville. You know fucking Neville? That's who fucking Charlton Heston played. Him in his fucking Air Force Colonel outfit with the fucking Smith & Wesson MK760 fucking submachine gun and the hat and the face of Charlton Heston. All that shit is available and you can make a doll that looks just like Neville. I think I'm going to make one of those.
Of course you can.
Yeah, with the fucking Neville's, with Heston's face.
What a time to be alive.
The fucking hat. You can buy it all separately. That fucking Air Force flight suit. The fucking submachine gun and everything. I think I'm going to make a Neville doll. I'll put that bitch right back there.
Oh, you should.
Yeah, make a Neville doll. Neville!
See, this is why...
Neville! Yeah.
This is why people piss and moan about, like, oh, nowadays, it's...
No, there's some really cool shit.
No, man, it's like, look, like, the good movies and shit, like, I love all the movies back then, but nowadays, like, back then, it was, like, hard, like... You know, you wanted some memorabilia from the movies back then. You couldn't get that.
Now you can make it.
Now you can just make it. There's like kits. There's all kind of shit. It's so easy.
Dudes are 3D printing Heston's head. Yeah. You got to paint it, but
fantastic.
You can get Heston's face and everything.
I love it.
And I got to fucking build that Starship Enterprise first. She bought it for me. It's got the electronics package. That was one of his Christmas with all presents. The fucking lights and the fucking warp.
That was super expensive.
That's like a fucking couple $100 for that.
That was like $200.
So, yeah, and I just got to get the paint for it. And once this TRT kicks in, I'll be ready for that shit.
Paint that shit. Make it look.
That shit. That's Kirk's fucking Enterprise. Yeah. That was the real Star Trek. Kirk. All right.
Well, yeah, Kirk. That's why I got that one. All they had other ones, but I was like, no, I need like the TOS. The Shat, I need the fucking
Shat and the Moy. Okay. Fucking, that's how they fucking played it back then.
I love Leonard Nimoy. He's my favorite.
That was the best series.
Well, that's why I got you.
Kind of like it's kind of like Twilight Zone in space, you know.
Twilight Zone in space.
Yeah, Twilight Zone in space. Yeah. Kind of like that.
Probably why I like both Star Trek and Twilight Zone and Night Gallery. Yeah. If you guys haven't watched Night Gallery with Rod Serling.
And if you like that, if you like the original Star Trek and we did a show on it on YouTube for free, you can see Star Trek Continues. And it's a lot of the same people that worked on the original series.
Yeah, it's fan-made, but it's
fan-made, but it's fucking really good.
So good.
It's the final season.
It's so good.
It's the final season to the fucking to the old series, and it mates right up to Star Trek the Motion Picture. How it ends. It's good.
Well, like I said, I admire anything that's done with love.
Had the descendant,
and they did it with love.
Scotty's son plays Scotty. Imahara fucking plays, who's dead now. He plays Sulu. Fucking
he died. Isn't that
Todd
weird?
Haberkorn plays fucking Spock. He does a good job. He does his own version of it. He's a younger guy, but it's still good.
He's good. I like his Spock.
Yeah, and fucking the dude who plays Kirk. Well, what the fucking name just slipped my head? He's fucking a great Kirk.
Vic
Mignogna.
Yeah.
Really good. A lot of fucking what's his name? Lou Ferrigno shows up, plays an Orion fucking slave master.
Oh, that was a good episode.
Yeah, there's fucking the chick from Buck Rogers. She shows up for some episodes.
Erin Gray.
Erin Gray shows up.
Sure.
So it's got stars on it, and the writing is really a lot of times the same guys who wrote some of the older ones, or
Well, like
guys
I
that
said,
wrote for fucking Next Generation and shit. It's
yeah,
good. It's
if
good.
you're gonna do that, it's like do it out of love. Man.
Yeah.
If you do it out of love,
Yeah.
it really shows.
Yeah, and it's got one of the best mirror episodes of all Star Trek, and that was, what did fucking Mirror Spock do once Kirk left?
Because look
and
at
went
sexy
back.
Mirror.
Yeah,
Spock.
Ty Habercorn plays
I
Mirror
mean,
Spock.
Spock is sexy just in his general form, but Mirror Spock,
Yeah.
also sexy. I'm into that. Ken says, was Grant still in it, or did he die before it ended?
No,
he was
died
in it.
after.
He died after they were done with it because which is sad. Like fuck,
Yeah.
he was so young. That bums me out still.
I don't remember why he died. He died of some sickness.
Fuck, man.
Yeah. But if you like the original Star Trek, man, go back and see Star Trek Continues.
Well, because
on
what
YouTube.
they did, like every
It's free on
episode,
YouTube.
they tried to like bring closure to like every episode that was maybe like open ended.
The original series didn't end.
Sure.
It didn't end, and they just stopped. All right, so they had to make an extra season to wrap all that shit up. Kirk had to fucking come face to face with the fact that he was a womanizer and he fucked over all those women in the whole series. He had to come face to face with that. Fucking.
It's like you can't just like sling your dick around
That's
and
right.
like just like look, the babies come from that. Like other
Spock
there
and
are
Nurse
other
Chapel
things
had to be resolved. Okay, because Spock and Nurse Chapel had some shit going on.
they had some. Mm-hmm.
And then why did Spock leave Starfleet? Because in Star Trek fucking the motion picture, Spock comes back to join Starfleet. Why did he leave? All that's in there. All that's in there. So
I love that that they're like, well, we're gonna take each episode that's like iconic, but that was open ended, and we're going to resolve it. You know what I mean? I really like that they did that.
Yeah.
And you could tell that the people that made it, I mean, everybody that made it, they're super into Star Trek.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, I love that. I'm a dork, too. It's like, I love that kind of shit.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the Star Trek they're making now, Discovery, I mean...
I haven't seen it. I'm not judging.
I've been hearing, like, mixed... Some people say it's all right. It's not the same Star Trek. They didn't want to pay all those licensing fees. So they kind of got it in a different universe. Most people I'm hearing say it's full of shit. That it's not real Star Trek.
I don't know. I'm not judging. I haven't seen it.
Now the Star Trek movies, I saw some of them and they were okay. It's not. It's not the same Star Trek. It just isn't. It's not my Star Trek. I liked the Next Generation. I liked fucking the original series.
You liked Enterprise.
I fucking loved Star Trek Enterprise.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't like that.
He's a big fan of Enterprise.
I loved Enterprise, especially like season
with Scott Bakula.
2 and beyond. With Scott, it took a while for that one to start ramping up. Deep Space Nine was good.
I don't know if I saw any of Deep Space Nine. I probably did at some
Voyager
point,
was pretty good. You know, some
okay, I didn't see any.
Yeah, with Captain Janeway. I thought it was pretty good.
Oh no, maybe I did.
Yeah,
see something.
it was pretty good.
Okay.
But my favorite actually is the original series, the movies.
That's my favorite.
The movies that went with it, and Enterprise. And a lot of people are looking at Enterprise. Why Enterprise? I didn't really like the Next Generation that much. I mean, I liked it, but it took a while for that series to really get rolling. And the thing with the Borg, I liked that. It's just... They had too much goddamn technology. Geordi could fix anything. That was the problem. If you had a big problem, we'll bring Geordi's blind ass over here, and he's like, "Well, see, what we can do is we can take the converted quantum particles and put those in with the hydrogen, and then he can fix anything."
That's what they call whatever technology.
Yeah. And
that's what they call.
It started to get to be too much with the original series and Enterprise. They didn't have technology to fix shit. I mean, technology did fix shit every now and then, but really, when you went back to the Enterprise with Scott Bakula, they were the fucking losers of the fucking space, of outer space.
Which is more interesting because if you just have like the means at your disposal, it's like, hey, we can just like fix this problem, blah blah blah. Then there's no drama, there's no conflict. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to see we have a problem and we don't know how to solve it. That's drama.
Yeah.
Right. So if you can just say, hey, we can just have our computer do. That's really not that interesting.
Some dude named Dog fucking Crapman's trying to come
for
in.
Fiction.
And he's trying to be slick. Doesn't TRT cause erectile dysfunction? Fucking any kind of anabolics in high levels can cause it. All right, but you have to be way up outside the fucking window. You have to be what's called in super physiological levels. If you have super physiological levels of any hormones, it will fuck you up. The key to it is to stay within normal human levels of all shit. Okay? So they know the window that you go in, and all you're doing is you're restoring someone's hormonal profile to an earlier state. It's not a superhuman state, it's an earlier state. So that's answering your question.
Yeah, they're just going back to like a younger version of it.
Right. And then erectile dysfunction? Are you fucking kidding me? I'd fuck you on TRT. And then what would you say?
You've really never had that problem.
Yeah, I'd be like, fucking bit like that.
I mean, I'm just saying, you have never had that problem.
Well, get drunk and tired, fucking anything like that.
Sure, but like I have that too. I get drunk and I'm just like, dude, it's like I'm not even. But it's like you have seriously never had that problem. Not that I know of, anyway. And we've been together a long time, 10 years. So you've never had that problem. Mm-hmm. So, where was I? Number 14. What did I say? The Premature Burial, 1962, which had fucking who's that dude? The dude that was in The Man with the X-Ray Eyes. I can't remember his name right now, but he was in that shit. Really good. Being buried alive. Sucks. Number 13. Peeping Tom, 1960. Mm-hmm. Now, we did a retrospective on this, so if you want like our full thoughts about it, then go watch the retrospective about it. This was a movie, it came out the same year as Psycho, which maybe you'll be seeing later on in the list. But I kind of feel like this movie was maybe, I don't know if I want to say it was like the first slasher movie or it was the first modern horror movie. But this is kind of the first one to do the whole sympathetic serial killer. We're seeing shit from his POV thing. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I don't know if it was the first one, but it seems like it was kind of among the first ones. 1960, that's very early. Yeah. This is about a dude who is a photographer, and his whole fetish was he was into watching women. Well, he was into fear, and he was like into this, like, look, I have this camera, and it has like this fucking blade on it, and I'm gonna like fucking stab you to death while I'm filming you because I'm into watching you be afraid that you're dying. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, very ahead of its time for 1960, gotta say. It's a British film. Now, the dude that directed it, very famously, he made this movie. And then everyone was like, no, thank you. And he, essentially, like, his career kind of tanked afterward. Because evidently the world was not ready for this shit. But, you know, that's kind of what happened. So, Peeping Tom, we did a review on it. Like I said, go watch that shit. It's on our movie retrospective. Now, number 12, I'm going to go with Black Sunday, 1960. Mario Bava. This has the beautiful, beautiful Barbara Steele. I love old school witchcraft movies. And this movie, 1960, Italian, it has a scene at the very beginning of a witch getting a spiked mask hammered onto her face. Mm. Because that's how they did in Italy in 1960. They weren't fucking around. It's good. I love witchcraft movies. So Black Sunday is really, really good. If you haven't seen that, you need to see that. Mario Bava, a fucking pioneer in many ways. But go see Black Sunday. And also, you know.
Paul Moore's asked me if I saw Orville. They did a better job on it. They thought they did a real good job on it. I keep hearing about Orville. They said if you like old Star Trek, you'd love Orville. Yeah, I'd be up for that. I just haven't seen it yet. It was a good way of getting around the Star Trek Enterprise. Star Trek fucking, what do you call it? Their licensing, though. You know what I mean? Yeah. Somebody wanted to make like old school Star Trek. So they did it in kind of like they did a blatant Star Trek ripoff, but then they added like a comedy kind of element to it. But people liked that better than the fucking
Well, like I said, there's a lot of like workarounds you can do with,
they
like,
worked
the
around
intellectual
it.
property.
It's supposed to be real good.
Mango says Black Sunday is great. It is great. I love Mario Bava. I love Black Sunday. I love Barbara Steele. I love everything that she's in. She just seems like a fantastic... I don't know, man. She just seems like a fantastic person. She was in some David Cronenberg movies, too. And I love her. And she was, like, in some shit later. She was in some shit that I saw a couple years ago. There was a movie I saw a couple years back called... What was it called? The Butterfly Room, I want to say. She was in that. And she fucking chewed the scenery in that shit. And it was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I love her. But yeah, so she's awesome. So where are we? Okay, so Peeping Tom, Black Sunday. Number 11. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Isn't she's amazing? I love her. I love her.
Yeah.
Number 11. I'm gonna go with The Birds, 1963. Alfred Hitchcock. Probably one of his best films. I don't know. There's a lot of competition in that area. Psycho's gonna turn up later. Spoiler alert. But The Birds, also very good. And I love the fact that he went, like, pretty gory with The Birds back in the day, like, 1963. And he showed a body with the eyes pecked out.
Yeah, I remember that.
Which, 1963, I'm actually amazed that he got away with that shit. So you know what I'm saying? And, like, The Birds, good. Because it's kind of like... I love that he took something innocuous and made it into a threat. I think that is kind of like...
Yeah, but you also have to talk about the crowning jewel, and that's Birdemic. Once Birdemic came out, then fucking, you know what I mean? It totally made the birds obsolete.
Did it though?
Totally made the birds obsolete.
I feel like,
the fucking gunshots and the fucking special effects from Birdemic.
Birdemic was like, okay, this is what happened. Like, if Birdemic, the people that made Birdemic, and like I said, I'm not shitting on you, person that made Birdemic, James Dine, whatever your name is. If you were Alfred Hitchcock and you had made the birds back in the day, but also you were retarded and had a lobotomy and there was many other things, and then you decided you were going to make a movie, then you would kind of make Birdemic. But it was entertaining. I will give it that much. But you could tell that was like the retarded, like, drug-addled version of the birds. It was like, look, we're gonna take, like, all the fucking... We're gonna put, like, all these fucking birds from this fucking... the editing program. We're gonna put, like, these little PNG birds in there, like, flapping. Yeah. It's like they obviously, like, were not. And then they say, oh my god, it was just...
Tila says she's doing some multitasking.
Oh my goodness.
Send that to Ken.
If you've seen Birdemic, but you have never seen The Birds, go see The Birds. Yeah. Because it's the same premise, but 1,000 times better executed. I'm just saying. But yeah, so I'm just saying. Alright, so where am I? Number 10. Mask of the Red Death, 1964. This is another one that was a Roger Corman movie. That he did a whole bunch of Edgar Allan Poe adaptations, most of which were actually pretty good. Even though Roger Corman made a lot of, I'm not gonna lie, like, shit-ass movies in the 50s and in the 60s. But all of his Edgar Allan Poe adaptations were actually pretty good.
You got that right, Tila. Jenny's feeling no pain. She's fucked up.
I'm not. It's, it's
You're on. She's on about drink 4, probably. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, about drink 4.
Well,
yeah,
I'm just
doubles, so I'm on like 8.
Yeah, I'm on the third one.
No,
but
that's the 4th.
They're doubles.
Yeah, I think that's the 4th.
So this might be the 6th.
Okay, whatever.
Or 7.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. We're talking about horror movies. Yeah. I'm into it. So Roger Corman, if you guys don't know, if you're too young, he made a lot of Edgar Allan Poe adaptations in the 60s. Now, prior to this, Roger Corman had made some movies in the 50s, Attack of the Crab Monsters. He'd done, like, all these kind of, like, 50s. Now, all of his movies made money because, one, they were super cheap to make, And two, they appealed to a larger, like, teenage audience. Like, a lot of people go to see them.
Graham said you were pissed as a cricket.
Yeah, I am. But a lot of them, like, not so good. I've seen, like, a lot of the Roger Corman movies that were on, like, fucking Teenage Caveman and all that kind of shit. Not great. But his Edgar Allan Poe adaptations, fantastic. I love all of those. Because, I don't know, for whatever reason, I don't know if he was, like, really into Edgar Allan Poe or he was just, like, was willing to, like, expend more energy on the shit. But the Edgar Allan Poe adaptations that he did all came out really, really good. Like, way better than any of his other movies that he ever made. Because a lot of the shit that he did in the 50s, even later in the 70s, were shitty. Not...
Well, he made some in the 80s that were good. Fucking, he did.
I mean, they're entertaining.
He did. What
but
was that
they're
one?
not like.
Well, actually, he did that one with fucking Cameron. What was it called? Galaxy of Terror.
Galaxy. Okay, that wasn't
Galaxy
bad.
of Terror. Galaxy of Terror was what
bad.
ended up getting Corman his fucking gig on Alien 2, on Aliens, and and Galaxy of Terror was an Alien ripoff. I liked it. Remember when that big old fucking caterpillar was raping that girl?
Everybody remembers.
I was like,
That's what I was gonna say.
Suckers and all that slime on her titties. It was fucking.
That's the only scene I remember.
I was a fucking teenager going, yeah, damn.
That's
Wish
the
I
only
was
scene
that
I
caterpillar. Fucking. That's some funny shit.
Because of course you. Well, yeah. Well, Roger Corman.
Yeah.
I will give him this. One, he never lost money on a single movie, as far as I know. He never did. He was always real big on, I'm going to make whatever movie. And he was like really good.
You got $5. Yeah, you got $5.
Oh, thank you, dude.
And that was from
For Drunk Jenny.
For Drunk Jenny, yeah.
Bitch, man, get me drunk. I will talk about horror movies all night long. But yeah, so the thing about it is that he always kind of was like up on the zeitgeist, man. Like he always knew what was going on with the shit. Which nowadays it's like a lot of the times you see the shit and it's like kind of dated, but at the time, as I said, he never lost money.
Talking about Corman?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was constantly producing stuff. Constantly making things.
And the fact that he only took like 2 or 3 weeks to make a movie, which was and he would make a bunch of movies on the same sets because he was very budget minded. Yeah,
well, there was an element of scam
Sure,
there's always been an element of scam.
But like I said, I respect the grift in that. Sure.
Yeah.
And they were making something that was entertaining, so you had like a product that came out at the end that people were entertained by.
You can't do that anymore, though.
So I'm not.
Television basically sucked in those days. If you could make a decent movie and you had connections in Hollywood to get it into theaters on a nationwide or at least a regional level, you could triple your money. Any investment, you could triple it. And if you had the right people, you could sit there and constantly make these fucking things. And put your name on them. And fucking buy all kinds of houses and fucking get all kinds of young girlfriends. That's really what all they were doing. It wasn't anything sophisticated.
Well, and I feel like Roger Corman's formula is the same thing that, say...
Like Blumhouse.
That Jason Blumhouse is doing nowadays. Yeah. It's like, look, we're going to make a movie for $5 million. Right. And then it'll make $100 million. Yeah. And we will...
Now that AMC and all those big theater chains are gone, they're never going to be the size that they were. The future is streaming. Fucking, it's obvious now. It's going to be a slightly different strategy now. I think it might be a little bit better in some ways because they don't spend all the money on a bunch of fat. They'll spend money directly on actors, writers, and special effects.
Well, and people movies that people actually want to make. Because it's kind of like a passion project. It's like, look, I don't have a lot of money, but it's like, this is something that I've been wanting to work on, sure.
If you look at the big Hollywood movies and the budgets involved, that's all bullshit. It's all padded out with all kinds of kickbacks. They're overclaiming how much the shit cost because it has to do with the IRS and their tax evasion. There's a lot of shit going on in the so-called cost of these big blockbusters. They're not spending that much money. and they're fucking hiring friends that own companies like special effects companies, and they're overcharging and they're spreading shit around. A lot of corruption in it. The future productions, you're going to get that same movie. It's going to cost a fraction of that, and the production time is going to be reduced, and it's going to be something you can buy online. That's what it's going to be, and the people that actually worked on the movie will get the money, not all these other people that were coming.
Like I said, I'm
fair.
okay with that.
That's fine.
I'm okay with that.
That's fine. Look at Joker. Okay, you could make Joker even cheaper than they made it. All right, and if it was good, it would make more than $1 billion. You know what I mean? In the new model. Think about it. Think if Joker came out now, direct streaming, it would make more than $1 billion than it made at the theater, because they didn't have to pay the theater change to play it. There's all kinds of kickbacks involved.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, I'm really in, I'm kind of on the side of anything that's going to go toward more indie movies.
That's where it's going to go.
Because I'm kind of, especially in horror, I want to see, people's fucking individual visions, man. I don't want to see, like, all this kind of, like, committee shit. It's like, some of those are good, but not usually. I want to see one person's fucking vision, man. I want to see that. You know? I like a director that has a vision. They have, like, even if it's weird, it's like, I love to see your perspective on shit. Nobody wants to see horror that's corporate or generic or, I've seen some like that and I like them, but it's like, no one remembers that. I really like to see everyone's individual visions of horror.
Yeah.
Whether it's movies or whether it's novels. I like either thing.
Serpent Server says, exactly. When I was a kid, I always wondered why a movie cost $200 million to make, but it looks like a $1 billion movie. It's exactly the why. It didn't cost $200 million. They fucking lied.
Well, and the thing about it, too, is that when you have a lot less money to work with...
Spread shit around amongst friends.
When you have a lot less money to work with, you have to be creative. Mm-hmm. And I am interested to see how, if you're only given $1 million or $500,000 or whatever you're given to make your movie, I'm always interested to see how you, spend that. And to me, that's more interesting than seeing a movie that, costs like $100 million or whatever. It's like, sometimes those are fun and entertaining or whatever, but it's like, I don't know, man. I don't fucking resonate with that shit.
Yeah.
Because
what's the next one on the list?
Everybody loves that. So, number 9.
No.
Because I said Mask of the Red Death, right?
Yeah, I think you did, yeah.
Number 9, Blood and Black Lace.
I don't remember that.
1964, Mario Bava. This was one of the first Giallo movies. It probably wasn't the first one because I think Mario Bava had made another one called The Man Who Knew Too Much, which was black and white. But this was kind of like the first one that was like, that had all of the Giallo tropes. It was full color. It was like set in a model, fashion house. So it's like all the models were like fucking victims. And it was like, they had like fucking really elaborate like fucking murders. It was all that kind of shit. And it was like a murder mystery. So I kind of feel like this was really, really influential of leadership. So if you're into Giallo movies, if you're into all that kind of like murder mystery shit, you really need to see Blood and Black Lace. 1964, bitch. 1964. See that fucking shit. Number 8, Eyes Without a Face. Yeah. 1960. This was a French film. Now, this movie
was a favorite of Billy Idol.
Seriously, if you were alive in 1960 and you saw this in 1960,
yeah.
I can see you getting kind of like, because this is pretty gory for 1960. Like somebody, seriously, the story about it is that there's a doctor and he has a daughter, And he's trying to find her. Like, her face got all fucked up. So he's trying to, like, find her another face. So there's a scene in it where the doctor, like, cuts off her face in... It's, you know, it's pretty graphic for 1960. It's like, it cuts off her face and they pull it off. And they're, like, putting another one... Because, you know, she has, like, the fucking mask on through the whole thing. But they do the whole thing. It's pretty gory for 1960. I'm just saying. It's a French film. So if you haven't seen it, it was directed by Georges Franju. And I feel like a lot of people maybe haven't seen this one. But I don't know. It's like... This is another one that if you're super into horror, you really need to see this one because fucking, you know, eyes without a face, man. It's like, you'll be surprised at how people reportedly passed out when they first showed this because there was a scene in it where the doctor is like cutting the face off and like he pulls the face off of and it's like shown. So he pulls the face off and shit like that, which I feel like in the U.S. they wouldn't have shown in 1960. I feel like they wouldn't have shown that, right?
No, probably not.
So I kind of feel like, I don't know, a lot of people were like upset by it, but I don't know. But, you know, seriously, see that one. Eyes Without a Face, 1960. Number 7, where am I at? Carnival of Souls.
Carnival of Souls.
1962.
Yeah.
I love Carnival of Souls. This is the weirdest fucking movie. This woman that was in it, what did she do afterward? I don't really know. Her name's Candice Hilligoss. So this movie was so fucking weird. So she, spoiler alert, dies in a car accident. Essentially. Well, she's in a car accident at the beginning. And then, like, the whole movie, like, you think that she survives the car accident. So the whole movie, she's kind of, like, fucking around and, like, all this kind of shit. Like, the whole premise of the movie is that she died in the car accident, but, like, her soul is like, floating around out there or whatever. And so it's a thing where it's, like, it's kind of like, I don't know. She doesn't have a soul now. So she's walking around, but she doesn't have a soul. So that's kind of the whole premise of the movie. So she dies in the car accident, but she doesn't realize it. And then, like, she's walking around, like, she's doing shit, like, oh, I'm playing the church organ. And it's like, oh, I can't deal with it anymore. And, like, I keep playing, like, demonic shit. And then, like, she goes to this other place, and it's like, I don't know. I don't know. There's something really weird about it. And it's like there's this fucking... what do you call it? Like the fucking carnival over there, and there's like all these fucking dudes that are like look like zombies, and they're like all white with like the black eyes, and they're showing up in her car window while she's driving around. It's like, I don't know, like I love this movie. There's something like really, really creepy about this movie. Did you find that or no?
No, not really.
He really does not help.
No, I didn't really care for the movie.
No,
Carnival of Souls, right?
I love Carnival of Souls.
Yeah, I didn't really.
There's
care
something
about
really like creepy about it. I thought.
Which one was this again?
You don't even know.
No, I don't know. I think
it's the woman
recently.
that at the very beginning, she's in a car with a bunch of her friends, and they have a drag race, and they go off a bridge. They go off a bridge, and then over the course of the movie, it seems like she survives the accident.
I've never seen it.
But some weird shit happens where she starts like having these weird like episodes where it's like, ooh, I can't hear anything. I still like it. And she has this thing where it's like she used to be a church organist. She can't do that anymore. It's like
I've never seen it. I've never seen it.
You've never seen Carnival of Souls?
Jenny, I've never seen it.
Oh my god. Okay. Never mind.
It's not
so Carnival of Souls.
No.
It's good.
Okay.
Watch it.
All right.
It's creepy. Mm-hmm. So, number 6, Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah. Great
1968.
One. Yeah.
Fucking George Romero.
Yeah. Good movie.
The Godfather.
Everybody knows this one.
of zombie films.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Because all the zombie films before this, and there weren't very many of them, all the zombie films before this were, Haitian, style zombie movies. It was kind of like this whole, hey, we're bringing you back from the dead to be a slave or whatever. That was like the whole zombie thing. George Romero established he kind of put together the whole zombie mythos with the whole ghoul mythos, as in someone that had come back from the grave and was eating other people's flesh. So he kind of like combined those two, legends and made kind of a whole new thing, essentially.
Yeah.
I'm not really aware of anyone that had done that before him.
Yeah.
But Night of the Living Dead is, this is its influence can't be understated, I don't think. Essentially, this movie established the entire zombie subgenre.
Yeah, even though it wasn't about zombies. They called them zombies later.
They didn't call them zombies in the movie.
They were just called the Walking Dead or the Living Dead. And the zombies
or ghouls.
Ghouls, yeah. Zombies weren't the Walking Dead, really. The zombies were reanimated people. It's a Haitian thing. The best thing about this movie is the fucking cast. The cast and the tone of this movie. And the fact that it was very organic. It was something that was just kind of made up. I don't want to say on the spot. It was just made up with what they had
out of
locally.
What they had, sure.
And they put the best actors in the proper roles, and the shit just felt very organic.
This was a Pittsburgh movie.
Yeah, and I remember seeing it in California on television when I was a little kid. Probably some midnight playing on the local fucking Channel 13 or something. And I was just fucking blown away by it. I think I actually got up and woke up early out of bed and then walked into the living room and watched it while my parents were still asleep. I think I was about 6. All right. Because I think this might have been like a 2 o'clock movie or something. I don't think I was supposed to be up. And it fucking blew my mind, man. I fucking loved it. It's kind of scared me, at about 6, 7. Oh, what was funny is that it wasn't that gory. Even though when they showed the face of the person at the top of the stairs, it really didn't impact me
Although
much.
1968, seeing someone eating another person's...
It was mind-blowing. Right.
Eating a bug or eating other people's intestines was pretty out there for 1968.
I remember watching it and not knowing exactly what was going on, who they were hiding for, and then when you heard on their fucking television, the television they had there, that the dead were coming back to life. Was it television or radio? It might have been the radio, huh? No, it was television.
They had both. They had both. TV and the radio.
And on the television it said that the dead were coming back to life and they were eating the living. And as a kid, I was like, what? That was a concept I had never thought of.
Bitch, no.
Yeah, I was like, no way. Yeah, it was a good movie. And then he got killed at the end and everything. I was like, fuck.
You have to think of the cultural impact.
Yeah.
Even people that haven't seen Night of the Living Dead from 1968, you still know of the repercussions of that movie. That movie was like, in hindsight, was like an atomic bomb in the horror genre. Seriously. Because like I said, before that, all the quote-unquote zombie movies were Haitian zombie movies. It was very like, it was very insular. It was like a small kind of subsect of like the horror genre.
Somebody in the name of Travel Guide Videos and Tour Guide says 6 watching a horror movie. Like, I don't know where you're coming from, but what country were you brought up in? We watched horror movies as little kids.
I started watching horror movies when I was maybe 6 or 7.
Yeah.
My parents were pretty cool about it. Like,
At 7 and 8, I was going in L.A.
When I was little,
yeah.
like, I was super into scary shit. So it's like, my parents were like, okay, cool. Like, you're cool, right? You know that's not real. I'm like, yeah, I know that's not real. So they would let me watch it.
At 7 or 8, I was going to the fucking flood control systems in L.A. and going down to the tunnels looking for the giant ants out of them. There was a movie called Them. And it was from the 50s.
I think
the giant ants lived in the damn flood control system, so we were going in there looking for them. Fucking torches and shit. We stayed out all day. We only had to come back until the street lights turned on. Mom, yeah, come back when the street lights are on.
All the street lights come on.
Okay, and that's so we were out all day.
Yeah.
Running around like a pack of wild dogs with wild dogs. Little boys and wild dogs ran together back in those days.
Well, not a lot.
Yeah, they didn't give a there wasn't any of this fucking you keep your kids at home under fucking some kind of lock and key because it's safe. We didn't have that concept back then. We were like real humans. Spent all day fucking around, stealing gasoline from the garage.
Or our parents didn't
fucking
care that
setting
much
shit
about
on
it.
fire and stuff. No, they cared. It's just that there wasn't. They didn't. You know, they cared. It's just that was normal. Think about it.
No, I know.
That wasn't until...
I'm making a joke.
Yeah, well, other people from other generations may not understand that. It wasn't until like the 80s or the 90s people got scared to let their kids outside. That's why we have generations and generations of cowards. Cowards and weaklings. Fucking, we grew up outside like wild animals. And that's the way you should grow up. That's the way all the kids in the third world grow up. The United States was kind of like a third world country back then, which was in a way a good thing because I moved to Brazil and it was very normal in Brazil. Very, and it was developing, but it was fucking, I fit right in.
All right. Where was I? Night of the Living Dead. Okay, 1968. So number 5, Psycho, 1960. We just did a review of Psycho 1, 2, 3, and 4 a couple weeks back. So go look that up. Psycho, again, along with Peeping Tom, was kind of like the template for horror going forward, in the sense that you were given an insight into the psychology of the bad guy, the villain. So I feel like this and Peeping Tom were kind of like the first movies that gave you an insight into the serial killer, which was something that really wasn't done in movies. I feel like when, particularly under the Hays Code, because I feel like the Hays Code was kind of like if someone's a bad guy, they have to be punished at the end. And that was not necessarily what happened in Peeping Tom or Psycho. Not to the same extent that you would expect. So I kind of feel like Psycho, Peeping Tom kind of like heralded a new era in horror where the morality is like very ambiguous. It's very like gray. You know what I'm saying? It's not just kind of like we're having good guys and bad guys. We're going to give you like a little bit of sympathy for the killer. We're going to like do this and that and the other. And I kind of feel like that hadn't really been done up to that point. So, like I said, Psycho was the one that was like super famous. We talked to this about this on our Psycho review and also on our Peeping Tom review. Peeping Tom, which was a British film, and the director Michael Powell, kind of his career got kind of ruined a little bit because of this particular movie, because it was so controversial. But I kind of, Psycho was a lot more successful. But the thing about it was that no one was really used to seeing essentially a serial killer portrayed as a villain, but also sympathetically. People were not really ready for that in 1960. I kind of feel like. But that's what both these movies did. So, like I said, Psycho is my 1960. Night is my number 5. Number 4, The Innocents.
Oh, that was a good movie. I like that
1961. Based on Henry James' classic short story, Turn of the Screw, which has been made into shit tons of movies. But I have to say, This 1961 version, kind of hard to top this one. Kind of hard to top it.
Yeah.
The thing about the turn of the screw, the thing about the innocence.
It's creepy.
Well, the thing about it is that, and I feel like I'm going to talk about this later because some of the shit that's later on the list.
Are there ghosts or are there not ghosts? That's what it's all about.
It's scarier when you don't know.
Yeah. I always thought that there were ghosts. I thought there were the ghosts.
Which, like I said,
but she convinced me. We watched another version. She says, no, the ghosts weren't there. And I was like, I don't know, man.
But you could read it either way, and that's why it's awesome.
The ghosts were there.
That's why it's awesome.
Yeah, good movie.
I mean, The Innocents, I mean, for my money, that is easily, I don't even, so there's no competition in this area. The Innocents from 1960, that is the best version of The Turn of the Screw that has ever been put to film. Ever. So, it's so good. It's just so good. And I love the fact, I love ambiguity, you guys know.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. It's the best adaptation.
Okay,
we saw The Turning.
Yeah, it wasn't as good. But okay,
it was good until the end.
Yeah, we're starting to get into the more modern movies. I think that people will start.
I haven't got to the end. I haven't got to the end of the 60s.
Look at it. We're starting to get into the more modern movies. I think people will appreciate the list now a little bit better because those old ones were old. I didn't see half of those. Okay.
Well, that's on you, isn't it?
Okay, whatever. Ain't that something?
Well, I haven't got to the 60s yet.
Okay.
I'm not to the end of the 60s.
Yeah, but we know these.
The Innocents,
61.
That's number 4.
Yeah. Number 3? Rosemary's Baby. That was a good flick.
Oh my god.
That was a good flick.
Look, if you guys haven't read the book, it's by Ira Levin. Don't read all his shit because it's not all good. But he wrote The Stepford Wives also. He also wrote A Kiss Before Dying. Awesome book. Read that. Rosemary's Baby, a fantastic, fantastic adaptation. Because there's so much shit going on in that.
Yeah.
Also a lot of there's a lot of comedy going on in that. But I feel like it's not acknowledged. Which I kind of love that.
Yeah.
If you're a Catholic, it's funnier, I guess.
If you haven't seen Apocalypse Now, man, you got to see that.
Yeah,
see the Redux version. It's real good. It's long, but it's real good. You'll understand it.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2 is Repulsion.
Yeah.
You're starting to need help here soon.
No, I'm not.
Okay. All right.
Well, I don't know if you're going to stop
talking. You're kind of drunk.
Number 2, Repulsion.
Yeah.
This was the first of Roman Polanski's quote-unquote apartment trilogy.
Yeah.
Catherine Deneuve was in this. It was black and white. And it was basically about this woman. She was in her apartment. She lived with her sister. And she had, a weird fear of men. It wasn't weird because, it was justified to a certain extent. But she lives in this apartment. She gets left alone. Her sister goes off on whatever. And, she's in this apartment by herself. And she slowly goes insane. And it is Roman Polanski, as shitty as he is a human, I get that. But he's really good at portraying descents into madness.
He was a good director, man.
The
Tenet was awesome.
Well, that will come up later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's this movie, this was the first, like I said, of his apartment trilogy, which it's not really a trilogy. They don't have anything to do with each other. They were just all set in apartments. But the thing about it is that it's this great portrayal of descent into madness. He was really, really good at just capturing that on film. You know what I mean?
Streaming?
A long time. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, this is an hour. But okay. I don't remember how. We got to keep it.
We got to keep it going forward. All right. Number 1 is The Haunting.
Oh my God.
This is a good one.
The Haunting, 1963. Yeah. You guys, this is the best adaptation. I know, Mike Flanagan did The Haunting of Hill House, which was loosely an adaptation of The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, which I don't know if you guys know is my favorite haunted house novel of the 20th century. But The Haunting from 1963 is my favorite horror movie of the 1960s. Easily. There was no argument. There was no nothing. Like, I immediately put that. The thing that is awesome about The Haunting, it was directed by Robert Wise, is that he shows nothing. He shows nothing, and it is still scary.
Okay.
It's all suggestion. It's all angle. It's all shadow. It's all this. It's amazing the way he fucking does it. Well, the novel is kind of like that too, because the novel is a little bit like, is the house haunted, or is Eleanor, the main character, is she, does she have mental problems that is making, is it manifesting in the house? Is she seeing all of it? Is it, so it's like this ambiguity, and I love it. Like, the fucking novel, which came out in 1959, is amazing, and if you haven't read it, you really should. But this adaptation of it, I think, like, captured the best shit about Shirley Jackson's writing.
Okay, so that was number 1 for the 60s.
Yes.
Okay, now we're going on to 1970s. Number 20, Martin, 1978.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Martin was about the rats, wasn't it?
No.
Which one was Martin?
That was George Romero.
Yeah.
And it was a notably, like, it's a vampire movie. Kind of.
Yeah. That
but
one.
Martin.
That was the guy who thought he was a vampire. Maybe
he was a vampire. Maybe he was. Maybe he wasn't.
Okay, yeah. That was a pretty good one.
They left that kind of open-ended.
Yeah. Now, 19, Deep Red. That was 1975.
Dario Argento.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
Also known as Profondo Rosso.
Okay.
Kind of a giallo movie.
Yeah.
One of my favorite giallos.
Yeah.
From the 70s. So you're rushing me along.
Well, no, I have to keep you moving because we have so many of them to do. We can't have a 3-hour show.
We can't.
And people are saying that if you have one more drink, you won't be speaking English. That's what somebody said.
I still will, though.
We just have to keep it moving.
This
you know
shit,
what
I love
each
talking about
each
it.
each movie we're going to talk is a brief description of that movie. We can't do a whole show based on each movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
David June says, "Dang, Tom, trying to get the show over."
Man, it's 19. We're still in 1970. We got so much shit, man. We got so
19
much
Deep Red, otherwise known as Profondo
Yeah.
Rosso. Like I said, Dario Argento. Check that shit out. Number 18, The Brood.
Yeah.
David
great movie.
Cronenberg.
Yeah, that was a great movie.
And like any David Cronenberg movie, I'm so into that. That was like 1979. Oliver Reed was in that shit.
If you guys haven't seen The Brood, it's a good one. It's about fucking...
it's messed up.
Yeah, what was the dude's name? The British dude is always fucking...
Oliver Reed.
Oliver Reed,
I just said that like
I'm drunk, though. Yeah, Oliver Reed has this fucking clinic where he does hypnosis on people so their version of reality comes true, and somehow he makes a woman who can give birth spontaneously to all these little children like an ant queen, and they go out... And
Chick licks a fetus.
Yeah, and they can hear her subconscious, and they do her bidding. It's fucking weird. It's a really good movie.
The Brood is honestly one of my favorite.
Creepy. Saw it as a kid.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Number 17.
Phantasm.
Fucking good movie.
The original Phantasm.
Yeah, the old one, 1979.
I love this movie. Don Coscarelli directed it. I love this movie because it is so fucking... Like, I'm a writer. This movie is so fucking weird. Like, the whole premise of it is fucking weird. And I love that he just, like, leaned into it. He's like, whatever, man. I'm just gonna make this movie. And I'm just gonna, like, fucking... Look, there's a fucking cemetery. And there's this dude. And there's, like, these fucking Jawas. And, like, they're another dimension or whatever. Yeah. And it's just, like... I love that shit. Just lean into the weird shit.
Yeah.
Just saying. Fantastic.
Let me run the show. Let me run the show, Travel Guide. I know what I'm doing.
You gonna run it?
No. Well, just because we finished this doesn't mean the show ends. Okay.
Well, we have a couple of.
We got other shit we got to do. Let us.
We're only in the 1970s. Yeah. This was, like I said, this was.
You're in the audience. You're not up here on doing the show. Okay.
Number 16, Carrie, 1976.
Thanks, Ken. Appreciate it, bro.
Thank you, Ken. Number 16, Carrie.
Carrie, that's a fucking good one. It's classic.
One of the best. Stephen King adaptations.
Yeah, Stephen King wrote about me in that. One of the main characters' name was Tom Ross.
It was.
Remember that shit?
It was.
It was fucking psychic. Sissy Spacek was cute as shit in that movie.
I mean, she was like the perfect person to play that character.
Yeah.
I mean, they went a little bit afield.
Yeah.
Like they always do.
Chick had
like
fucking psychokinesis.
the thing about like I feel like Sissy Spacek was the perfect person to play that role because she's the perfect you know, kind of like balance between being like cute as shit and also being kind of like awkward. Yeah. And I feel like that was kind of like the best way to approach that because she's still like sympathetic, but she's also kind of like a little bit, you know. Yeah. So there's that. Number 15, and some people are gonna like yell at me because this is so low. Number 15, Halloween. Yeah. 1978. I love Halloween. I'm not saying that. There were like so many movies. Like the 1970s, I had 60 movies and I had to cut out 40 movies. Yeah. And when I was putting them in order, I was having a really hard time.
What was funny is about Phantasm and Halloween were movies that were made up out of nothing, really. There wasn't any money there. They just kind of, one of them, fucking, Phantasm was a fucking, was a movie, was a work of fucking love, really, and that began a whole fucking series of movies that were all works of love.
I mean, they didn't start the slasher genre because that had been done prior. Black Christmas, you know, Mario Bava's Bay of Blood, whatever. Yeah. But it's like they brought it into the mainstream.
Yeah, and Halloween was Carpenter flick back when he was fucking poor and still hungry. So he was interested in making a movie.
It's a great movie. It's great.
I'm a big fan of Carpenter, but especially early Carpenter. As soon as The Thing bombed at the fucking theater, at the box office, that was kind of the end of Carpenter physically or psychologically, I think. Because he was just crushed by the fact that he made a fucking awesome movie.
Which bummed me out. And seriously, wait till we get to the
people didn't like it. But I fucking loved it. My dad took me to see it like 3 times. He fucking loved it. Come on.
Yeah. And I love Halloween. Like, I understand its cultural significance. Right. But what I try to do when I was making this list, I'm like, look, if somebody told me, hey, you want to watch this movie right now, I was kind of like judging it as like, how often do I want to like rewatch the shit? Yeah. I love Halloween, but it's not, there's a lot of other movies I would rather watch other than that. Season of the Witch, or Halloween 3, was the first Halloween movie that I saw, so I didn't know anything about 1 or 2. I fucking love Season of the Witch. I love Halloween 3. I like that better than the Michael Myers movies, because that's what I saw first, and that was just a weird fucking movie, man, with the robots, and the, you know, 2 more days to Halloween. It's just creepy. The kid's head explodes. Roaches and snakes come out of the kid's head and attack the parents. Which I love that. Any movie that's like willing to like fuck up a kid like that has my respect. I was fucking blown away. Okay. All right. So after Halloween, number 14, The Omen. Yeah, The Omen was great because this was big budget horror. Love The Omen. Yeah, The Omen. Omen 1 was I love The Omen. Big budget horror. It had a fucking classy... Fucking Gregory Peck was in that shit. It was classy as fuck, and you were buying into it like this... David Warner was in this shit. It was like this bitch was a documentary. It was like, yeah, okay. Can I say the Antichrist for a long time... If the Antichrist has arrived, and the next thing you know, I'm going to have... We're going to talk about that shit later. Man, so I'm going to have old fat man showing up about any wine before it's time. Talking about Bugenhagen. What's his motherfucker's name? Fucking Orson Welles. Orson Welles shows up and tells me about third Antichrist and all that kind of shit. Oh, we're going to get into that later. If we have time. We will. If we have time. And I'm just buying into it. When I was a kid, I was going, that's right. Omen, bitches. Can I say, like, when I saw The Omen when I was a little kid, because this came out 1976, I was 4. So I probably saw it when I was 8, 9, something like that. Yeah. So the whole scene where David Warner gets decapitated by the pane of glass, that traumatized me for many, many years. Yeah. Yeah, Con, Halloween 3 scared me too when I was a kid, man. There's some great fucking scenes in that. Yeah. Like the whole fucking shit with the... There was something illicit about it. It looked cheap and dangerous, like some kind of fucking snuff flick when it came out. And that girl's playing around with that silver shamrock label, and it fucking blows into her mouth and fucks her teeth up, and a potato bug comes out.
That was just some weird shit, man. Weird shit. Yeah. Good movie. It wasn't. Was it a good movie? Yeah, it was a good flick.
It was a good movie.
It was a good. Yeah, I guess so.
We're gonna talk about that later.
It was a good movie.
We're gonna talk about it later. We're talking about The Omen right now.
All right.
Omen's
classy
as
shit.
I love The Omen.
Number
13. Jaws.
Jaws. Yeah, that's good.
I mean, you can't fucking argue. Jaws is a great movie. Not just a horror movie. It's just a great movie.
Jaws was the original.
All around. It was the original blockbuster.
It was also the original Terminator.
That too.
Because Arnold Schwarzenegger in the Terminator really that rolls a lot like Jaws.
There was no concept.
You couldn't talk about it. You couldn't talk to it. It just came and killed you.
There was no concept of blockbuster summer movies until Jaws. Yeah. That was kind of like the first one. And honestly, I grew up in Florida. I grew up in Daytona Beach, which is, if you don't know, is right on the coast. So we had shark shit to deal with all the time, and I was always scared of sharks. After I saw Jaws, I'm just like, I think I'm just not gonna go in the ocean.
I see all the fucking comments.
Anytime.
Tila, Jaws is a masterpiece.
The Jaws is a masterpiece. So good.
The best part of it was the damn sea captain. His eyes like a dog.
Quinn.
Glassy eyes.
I mean, he's the best character, but all the characters are good. Yeah, and the thing about it, and a lot of people talked about this, so we don't fucking belabor the point. But the fact that the fucking animatronic shark that they had for the show, which was called Bruce, and it didn't work the way they wanted it to, so they couldn't show it as much in the movie, but that ended up being a positive in the movie because, as I've said many times, in horror, you can't show too much of the shit or it's not scary anymore. Yeah. If you're gonna have some shit with a fucking great white shark, don't show it too much.
Sass is in there painting. We're talking to her while she's painting. Con and fucking says they need to do the storyline of Halloween 3 again. They need to reboot Season of the Witch. They call that bitch Silver Shamrock, and they fucking have
I would watch a whole series about that.
Dude's got androids, the fucking explosive masks. He's doing all kinds of shit online. Kind of like an updated version, but it has to be fucking tacky. It has to be fucking... You see it, you go, ugh. It's got to be something like that.
Well, tacky, but... I don't know. They have to, kind of... Just get that fucking line of... I don't know.
Number 2. I'm not sure this is a fucking horror movie, but it is good. No. 12.
Jaws. Number 12.
Number 12. Eraserhead. Yeah.
Now, I am going to argue...
I did not realize that was 1977.
Most of David Lynch's movies, I would argue... are horror movies. Yeah. And hopefully you guys are not going to fucking shit on me because when I get to 2000s, spoiler alert, there's going to be some David Lynch showing up in there. Eraserhead is absolutely a horror movie. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, David Lynch to me, he is the only director that has been consistently able to capture what looks like one of my nightmares on film.
Well, Serpent Surfer fucking come out with a good fucking quote. Your hand's been counting money all your life. Yeah. He knows the deal.
But like I said, I'll argue, because some people will be like, oh, David Lynch movies aren't horror movies. Fuck that. Yeah. He is the only director, and I wish that more horror directors would take some fucking pointers from David Lynch, because David Lynch... He's not even trying to make a horror movie. He's trying to make a movie, like he wants to make a movie. But the fact that he is able to capture imagery in his shit that has creeped me out more than any other horror movie. Look at some shit from fucking Mulholland Drive or Inland Empire. Shit like that has creeped me out more than any other horror movie ever.
Yeah.
Because, So I'm going to say Eraserhead is totally a horror movie.
Okay.
And Wikipedia will agree with me.
All right. So same year, 1977, number 11.
The Psychic. Yeah. Also known, this was directed by Lucio Fulci.
Yeah.
Also known as Murder to the Tune of 7 Black Notes. Mm. This is kind of a giallo movie, but not really, because there's a supernatural element. For some reason, I don't know why more people don't know about this movie. I fucking love The Psychic. Because there's a thing where it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like this really weird thing. Like, the dude that wrote it, Dardan Sachete, he's the same dude that did, like, The Beyond and House by the Cemetery and all that, like, shit that you guys know about. But he also did this shit where it has this thing where there's this woman that's in it, and she's a psychic, and she has, like, a vision at the beginning, and she sees all of this stuff. And all of the stuff that she sees comes to pass later in the movie, but not the way you expect. And I think that's, like, really, really, really good writing. So I don't know, like, I'm really into that premise where it's kind of like, hey, I'm seeing this vision, and it's like I see all these like fucking, because she sees all these like disturbing imagery, and then like later all of this stuff happens in real life, but not in the way that you're expecting that they would happen. So I think that's like really, really good writing. And this is a movie, it's kind of like there's a supernatural element, but it's mostly like a murder mystery. And I feel like Lucio Fulci didn't get enough credit for his murder mystery type shit. So every time I can plug one of his giallos or his murder mysteries, I'm going to do it. So if you haven't seen The Psychic, aka seven, you know, Murder to the Tune of Seven Black Notes, whatever the fuck they call it in Italian, I don't know. You should see it because it's really, really good. It's actually one of my favorite Lucio Fulci movies.
Okay, number 10, Alice, Sweet Alice.
Alice, Sweet Alice.
1976. This is a good flick.
We have actually done a retrospective on this.
Yeah.
This was also...
It feels like a giallo, but it's not.
It was influenced by a giallo movie.
Yeah, it's an American fake giallo from fucking 76. Yeah. And as a kid, I always thought it was a giallo. It looked like some of the shit was fucking dubbed, but I guess it wasn't. But it looked like, you know how they used to dub certain languages? It just has that Italian feel about a crazy little fucking girl and a fucking perverted fat motherfucker that's trying to get him some off this like 13 or 14-year-old. And then there's like a murder involved and shit. And I guess she's going around killing people, but it's a giallo movie. There's always a twist. It's a good fucking flick. You guys haven't seen it.
That's kind of what giallos do. They're just kind of like, it's... Honestly, it's the least, you know, essential person.
Number 9, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974.
Of course.
This is a fucking another classic.
I mean, a classic. I feel kind of bad, like, putting this low. But there were so many other movies that I love from the 70s that it's like, I don't know, it just made me feel bad. Yeah. I mean, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Everybody knows this one, though.
Everybody's
got to see that. I tell you what. Oh, shit, I ain't going to talk about never mind.
What are you going to say?
No.
What?
It was back in high school. You know what happened. You know, I told you what happened fucking when I was watching.
Is it the whole blowjob incident?
Yeah. I was in high school fucking with this fucking hot chick named Cheryl. Fucking must have been 11th grade.
She gave you a blowjob.
She was blowing me during fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was fucking awesome.
That was a keeper.
Yeah, she was fucking had the nice build like this and everything. She was built a lot like a redhead, though. Crazy ass redhead.
I'm a redhead too.
She was cool. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay. Number 8. The Other, 1972. Classic. Fucking
we have also done a retrospective on this. Now, you guys, if you have not read the novel by Thomas Tryon, you should probably read the novel, which is excellent. Thomas Tryon wrote a really good... He wrote The Other. He wrote Harvest Home, which is fantastic, if you haven't read that. So they made a movie, The Other, 1972. It's kind of like this whole evil twin thing. I'm not going to spoil it. Like, we did a fucking retrospective on it. Yeah. I don't want to spoil it.
No, I can't spoil it. It's about a fucking two twins that are fucking have a psychic link. And
one's
it's back
bad, one's good.
And it's back in the early 1900s.
Yeah.
And there's a fucking kind of like
a
spiritual.
It's so good.
And their grandma's a spiritualist / kind of like a
Uta
witch.
Hagen plays their grandma.
It's a fucking masterpiece. Like, we grew up with it as kids. And it scared the fucking shit out of us.
Me too.
All right. Number 7. This is a great movie. Great fucking movie. The movies are starting to get better. Legend of Hell House.
1973.
Some of the hottest fucking British chicks you could have fucking imagined.
Based on a novel by Richard Matheson, which is just called Hell House.
It's all kinds of fucking lesbianism / slapping
Pamela
and
Franklin
demon possession
was
and
the
fucking,
girl. I think, you know what? Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Pamela Franklin, who was, older in this movie, she was in a lot of shit as a kid. I want to say she might have been in The Innocents.
Can't fuck with me. Doesn't two twins mean four? Okay. It was a pair of twins. It's these two kids that are twins.
Yeah.
Two boys that are twins. And fucking it's a weird shit. There's like a psychic link between them. I'm not going back on that. We passed that movie already.
Are we talking about Legend of Hell House?
We're talking about Legend of Hell House.
Legend of Hell House. Roddy McDowell was in it. I love Legend of Hell House.
It's a classic haunted house movie. It's done kind of like in a Hammer horror style, but a little more updated.
It has like a scientific kind of shit
scientific
too.
angle.
You have that
parapsychology.
Kind of,
Parapsychology. Real good flick. Number 6. Burnt Offerings. 1960. This was another fucking badass flick. Haunted house, possession. You got fucking Oliver Reeve in it. You got sexy ass Karen Black's in it. Sexy ass. I always say sexy ass Karen Black. Because Karen Black's got a sexy ass. Fucking cut her sexy cross-eyed ass. She was in it. With some kids. And the fucking... The house is a fucking haunted house trying to possess people.
Can I just say, too, that you should, if you like Burnt Offerings, the movie, you should read the book by Robert Marasco, which is also fantastic. I read a long time ago. But the book, the movie, so good. I mean, Karen Black, Oliver Reed, it's so good. And it's so creepy with, like, the fucking... This is one of the movies, I was at a, what do you call it? Like a fucking slumber party. Yeah. And we watched this movie, and everybody, like, ran and hid under the fucking couches.
Okay. All right, here's another one. Fucking number 5. We're getting close.
The Tenant.
The Tenant, 1976.
This is Roman Polanski.
Roman Polanski. This movie very much disturbed me as a kid.
Second movie in the Apartment trilogy.
They were playing it on fucking Cinemax and HBO back in the early 80s, like around 81, 82 a lot. At night, like on Fridays and Saturdays, fucking, because when you were a kid, you weren't old enough to go out and party with the fucking people that were in their fucking 20s or the late teenagers. So you're just like trapped at home watching fucking HBO, watching these scary ass movies, hoping the Skinflake would show up, but they never really did.
It's like, where are the titties?
And they're like, we see some, but not really. And then the Tenant would come on, and it was just a very alienating, terrible movie, terrifying movie about a dude who moves into this damn apartment, and it slowly possesses him and takes over his mind, and you don't know what's real and what's not real. It's a fucking... it's a good Polanski flick.
Seriously, 2 of my favorite film scenes of all time are him, because Roman Polanski plays... the dude, like, in the movie. He's in the shit, too. Yeah. And, like, he moves the shit aside, and, like, he's like, oh, there's a hole in the wall. I'm going to put... And there's a fucking tooth in there. And, like, it freaks me out. And then it's, like, he doesn't have a bathroom, like, in his own apartment. So, like, the bathroom is, like, across the fucking, hall or whatever. And he looks out the window... And he goes in the bathroom, and there's, like, fucking hieroglyphics. Yeah. Like, all over the fucking...
It's weird movie. And then,
it's so weird.
And he started to suffer from paranoia, like all the people are coming in on him. Okay, number 4, Don't Look Now, 1973. I don't know this one.
Nicholas Roeg. Now, this was... You saw it, because we did a review on it.
We did? Okay.
Donald Sutherland is in this. This is the dude. He goes to work on some shit in Italy. He's British. His daughter has drowned, and it's based on a I can't remember right now. I'm too drunk. Okay. But so he goes to Italy, and he's like, working on the shit. It's like a fucking what do you call it? Cathedral, and he's working on restoring it. And what ends up happening is that his daughter has drowned back in England, and he goes to Italy to forget about it. And then this whole shit happens where his wife starts getting convinced that there's this woman in Italy that is a psychic and is like, hey, I'm talking to your daughter. I'm doing this and that. So this all kind of shit, like weird shit happens where he's like in Italy and like all, and he starts seeing what he thinks is his daughter around the city.
Okay.
Except it turns out that it's a serial killer.
Okay.
Because there's all that shit going on too. This is easily one of my favorite movies of the 70s. It's like so, I don't know, and I don't even know why. It's like, it's so fucking creepy.
Okay.
There's just all this like fucking creepy shit going on. I love all of this kind of shit where everything is like ambiguous. It's like we don't know if it's like it's a haunting or if it's like serial killers. It's just like just creepy shit going on. I love that kind of shit.
Okay. Number 3, 1979, Alien. This is a fucking great sci-fi horror movie. Really nothing needs to be said about this. This was a fucking classic. Ridley Scott. They paid attention to every detail. Fucking great acting. Just great special effects. I saw this in the theater. My dad took me to see it twice. I would have been 10 years old at this time. And fucking I loved it. Scared the shit out of me. Game changer. Movies were not the same after Alien.
It was
at least not sci-fi horror.
Yeah, it was really something that changed the zeitgeist.
Changed everything. Okay, number 2, 1973, The Exorcist. I didn't see it in the theater. I was only 4 when this came out. But I did end up seeing it later on. This is another classy-ass fucking horror movie. Up there with, like, The Omen. I always thought The Exorcist and The Omen were kind of similar.
Although The Exorcist is, like, 10 times better than The Omen.
I don't know.
But I love The Omen, too.
I like The Omen, too. I thought they were about the same. The Exorcist had a lot of good dialogue in it. Like, what was his name? Max von Sydow fucking knocks it out of the park with in this movie.
Everything about The Exorcist is awesome.
Really good. Okay, look, here's the next one. Number 1. All right, this is Jenny's favorite movie.
From the 70s.
Suspiria, 1977.
I'm sorry, I just can't. I mean, Suspiria.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't make any sense.
I saw it. It was a good-looking movie. I wasn't into it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about it that just hits that sweet spot for me.
Yeah.
I can watch it over and over again. And like I said, it's like I can watch The Exorcist over and over again. I can watch Alien over and over again. I can watch Burnt Offerings. I can watch Don't Look Now. Like all of the top 10 movies that I have right there. If somebody said, hey, you want to watch this shit right now? I'd be like, yeah, sure. So that's kind of how I... Wait, what are you doing with that? Okay.
You don't need that anymore.
That's kind of how I judged it. I was kind of like, if somebody asked me right now, do I want to watch this movie right now? Like, if you wanted to watch it again right now, would you watch it right now? So that's kind of how I tried to, because it was really hard for me to, like, you know, winnow everything down. So that was hard, but that's kind of how I judged everything.
Okay.
So, you know.
Okay.
So we're going, like, 1980s.
Now we're in the 1980s.
Wait, somebody said... I thought somebody said something that I had to answer, but maybe it's gone now. All right, 1980s. Now this decade...
Mrs. Evans already party says, Tom and Jenny, thank you. My family's stranded in a hotel right now because of the Midwestern storms. This is making me happy. Yeah, well, thank you, Miss Evans.
Dude, man, we're gonna stand here. We got so much shit to talk about. So.
Speak English.
We got so much shit to talk about right now.
1980s.
Okay.
Number 20.
This was the hardest decade, I'm just going to say right now, because I had... My original list had 72 movies. Yeah. So I had to take 52 movies off.
Yeah.
So if there was a movie that you love from the 80s that you're like, hey, why isn't that on there? It probably was on there, but I had to take it off.
Yeah. Number 20. Phantasm 2. 1988. Every movie in the Phantasm.
I love all the Phantasm.
Yeah, and actually, okay, look, the Phantasm property or IP, if that's what we want to call it, was a labor of love created by a single man, and he stars in every one of them. I think there's 5 of them. 5 movies. Phantasm is the only series that I've ever seen that got better as it went.
I love all the Phantasm
They were all good,
movies.
and it got better as it went. And which just goes to show you that that if somebody really cares about the property and the story, they will write a good story and execute a good movie. Corporations can't do that. Multi-billion-dollar corporations have a really hard time, even with like part 2 or part 3.
Well, their whole thing is they need to make money for as many investors as possible.
Yeah,
so they're not
it up.
worried about one person and their vision and whatever.
Right.
So that's kind of part of the problem.
Yeah, okay. Number 19, Hellraiser. This is 1987. I liked it when it came out.
Love Clive Barker.
Yeah. I really liked Hellraiser when it came out.
Honestly, Hellraiser, the first one.
Yeah.
I think that was the closest approximation of Clive Barker's vision to the screen. It's, to be fair, Clive Barker's shit, the shit that he writes is very difficult to kind of make into a movie.
Yeah.
You know.
I when it came out in 87, I really enjoyed it. Me and my fucking buddies from high school just were watching it. Man, that was some badass shit. I've watched it recently and found that it was well-made movie, but boring by today's standards. I thought it was kind of boring. I don't think it aged very well. But back in 87... it was really cool, and I understand why it's still a classic. I understand why it's on this list. I mean, it was an important movie.
Yeah.
But to me, it's boring now.
Pat says his possession on this list, it was, but I had to take it off.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Number 18, Serpent and the Rainbow, 1988. It was a great fucking Haitian zombie movie.
Like I said, I love old school voodoo movies.
It's good. It had about a Bokor who was fucking doing
this
cool
is
shit.
Yeah, this is based on the book by Wade Davis, which is like a nonfiction book, and I think this was like a pretty good approximation, but they added a bunch of, like I said, we did a review of that, and I don't know, there's something about this movie I really liked. I really liked this movie. 17 is The Beyond.
Yeah, I don't know The Beyond.
It's Lucio Fulci.
Yeah.
We did a review of it a while back, so you watched it, but you probably don't remember.
Yeah. If I didn't grow up with the Italian movie, I would have not really retained it. You know what I'm talking about?
The Beyond, I don't know. That's like one of my favorite. I love Lucio Fulci's. I love his gore shit, but I kind of love his weird, like, surrealism kind of shit.
Yeah.
And The Beyond is kind of like it's kind of like the fucking, the whole fucking thing of his surrealism. I don't even really know if he realized that it was surrealism, but to other people's aesthetic, it seems surrealistic.
Okay.
But I love the fucking Beyond. So yeah, that was my number 17. Number 16
is The Predator. 1987. Predator was a great horror movie. It was very similar to Jaws in a certain way when you think about it. You're this uncontrollable monster that fucking eats you or kills you. But it was a war movie. It was a horror movie and a war movie. I liked it. It was one of the this movie actually influenced me back in high school to want to go into the military. Ended up joining the Army, partially because of this movie. Ridiculous, but that's just the way things were.
Well, yeah.
When you're a kid, you're like, oh yeah, I like the Predator. But when I got into 506, there were 2 guys that actually had that goddamn Predator tattooed on them. They had tattoos of that
I have to say, I mean, the Predator
it was a good movie.
Makeup.
Yeah. It was convincing.
For the time, was fantastic.
When I was watching that whole movie in the theater, when it was brand new, with the audience around me, and I was watching it when I lived in Brazil, and it was subtitled in Portuguese, but it was English language. And I was just listening to the reaction of the fucking Brazilians that were in there, and they were losing their fucking minds. And I'm watching it, I'm going, this is a great movie. But it's not over yet, you know what I mean? It's just, maybe it will disappoint me. At the end, when that thing took its mask off, I was like, whoa, the whole crowd just was, because nobody had seen anything like that.
Right.
And then when I saw that face for the first time, I said, this movie's a masterpiece. This is going to go down in history. And I was fucking right. I was right. That movie went down in fucking history. That was the first time you saw the face of a kind of a humanoid type alien, and you were totally convinced that you just seen a goddamn extraterrestrial. I mean, the alien from Alien 1 looked good, but you didn't see it that clearly. This thing, you see it clearly, and you go, it was like you were coming face to face with a fucking extraterrestrial. And it was all starting to make sense now. You're like, oh, okay, you know. And then the atomic bomb in the arm, no. And this is back when Arnold was in his prime. And Arnold hit about his prime, at 40. And it's just, to this day, this movie. And I'm going to say that a close second would be fucking Terminator 1. Not 2. People love 2. Nah, Terminator 1. 2 didn't age as well.
I'm more into 1.
1, yeah. 1 was more simple.
Honestly...
And he was the villain.
The fact that Predator
Yeah.
turned up at number 16 should tell you how fucking awesome the 80s were for horror. Because it was really, like, hard for me to, like, rank shit.
Yeah.
And, like I said, you shouldn't, like, fucking take this as whatever. But... Because I had a hard time, like, sorting the shit out.
Okay,
so,
number 15. The Evil Dead.
Evil Dead, the first one.
The first one. 1981.
Now, I love The Evil Dead because it was like a bunch of dudes that just went out to a cabin in the middle of nowhere. We're just gonna we're gonna do some fucking, fucking claymation or whatever the fuck they did. And we're going to do all these camera effects, and it's, like, fucking fantastic. Spoiler alert, Evil Dead 2 will be higher up on the list, because I feel like that was...
Well, that was the remake of
more
this one.
what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I feel like all around that was a better movie.
This movie came out in what, 81?
81.
All right. It came out in 81, but what was funny is that they kept replaying it over and over again. I think we saw this thing at the drive-in in Michigan at around, like, 86, maybe. They were still playing it at the drive-in.
Well, they were.
And
like I said, the 80s was the hardest
those cars
decade.
in the back were bouncing and everything.
Hardest.
Those cars in the back of the fucking thing would be bouncing. You'd go, man, there's fucking Tracy and fucking... You knew... The fucking drive-in was something... I don't know. Some of you youngsters don't know anything about it. It was a fucking hotel. It was a hotel for teenagers. Shit was fucking wild.
But you couldn't fuck in your house.
You couldn't fuck in the house. You could fuck in this, and then you'd be like in the front seat. You'd be in the front seat with your girlfriend, your date, and your boy would be in the back seat with his date. All kinds of wild shit be going on. You're fucking like giving each other high fives across the fucking seats back there. It was fucking wild, man. It was fucking wild. And it happened because we didn't have cell phones back then. You couldn't record anything. So if it happened and nobody saw it, then that shit didn't happen. Nowadays, somebody try to fucking record it. You know, that's how
that would just be everywhere.
It'd be everywhere. But back in those days, you couldn't record anything. It was fucking wild. Okay, next one. Number 14, The Fly.
The Fly.
1986. That was a good one, too.
Cronenberg. Honestly, I love David Cronenberg. I love his, like, underground shit. But I have to say, his remake of The Fly, probably the best synthesis of his vision with mainstream cinema.
It was a good movie.
That has ever been. Because he did a really good job in mixing body horror with, an emotional connection with the characters. Because I feel like a lot of people, had heard of David Cronenberg, but it's like, that's some weird body horror shit. They don't want to watch that. But The Fly was kind of like his first foray into mainstream cinema. And I think he, like, fucking succeeded in that in fucking spades, man. I mean, honestly, a lot of people would say this was his best movie, and I'm not going to argue with that. Like, I don't agree necessarily, but that's subjective. But, I mean, as a synthesis of all the shit, I really kind of maybe this is his best movie. Yeah,
it's a good movie. Okay, number 3, Nightmare on Elm Street.
It's not. I'm not at 3.
No, excuse me, 13.
13.
Number 13, Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984.
84.
This is another good one.
Now,
when this shit first came out, it was like breaking new ground. I remember that movie.
Wes Craven, when he made this movie, I kind of feel like this was the perfect synthesis of the slasher movie with a higher philosophical, weird kind of, because he got the idea from I guess there were some like people that had died in like Asia or whatever it was, like from having nightmares, and like they died during the nightmares, and he had read an article about it, and he's like, look, I'm going to synthesize that with the whole fucking slasher thing. And I think the whole fact that he took the slasher genre and like kind of elevated it to another dimension.
Yeah.
And he made this like, look, there's this killer and he can kill you in your dreams. So we can do kind of anything.
It was a very trendy movie for the time.
It's a fucking fantastic concept. Now,
everybody liked it.
I will say, out of all the sequels, I like the third one, Dream Warriors, was good. The kind of one that he did that was like a meta one that was kind of like, it wasn't the Final Nightmare. It was, I don't remember what it was called, but the one where everybody's playing themselves. That one was good too. But for my money, the original Nightmare on Elm Street was really, really scary.
Well, that was like the original. That was the.
I mean,
one.
I think that was really scary.
Broke all the ground as they went. They actually, if you ask me, they got worse. I think the second one might have been pretty good, maybe better.
Second
but then
was
they started
okay,
to kinda,
but like the third one was really good.
Was it? Okay.
But then it kind of like went into stupid directions. But then like they went meta, and then that was good. And then after that, they did a whole Freddy versus Jason thing, and it was just which was fine, but you know.
Okay, number 12, right. Evil Dead 2,
Evil Dead 2.
This was a good one too, but really,
which essentially was a remake.
It was a remake of Evil Dead 1
of the first one, but with a higher budget,
better budget.
And I think that Evil Dead 2, and you know, fight me, but I think Evil Dead 2, I think they kind of like. They kind of got what they wanted from the first one, but they didn't have the budget. Yeah. And I think they kind of did it.
Yeah,
with the
it was
second
good.
One.
Okay, now, number 11, Reanimator, 1985. This is a great flick. This is the first movie I've seen but like this. This company made a lot of them. Like the next one was From Beyond. Fucking it had fucking Herbert West in it. It was a great movie. It was way ahead of its time, and it was very illicit. There's a scene where an undead dude with his silver head gives a woman head while she's on a fucking and we were just fucking tripping. It was like, whoa.
I mean, in the 80s, that was kind of
it was cutting edge.
Like, dude, like a woman receiving cunnilingus from a severed head. Yeah. All right, I'm on board with that.
We ought to have him on.
That's what Reanimate. Like, if we could get Jeffrey Combs on this show. We could get
Jeffrey Combs on.
Oh my God.
Jeffrey Combs goes on shows that have 10,000 subs. We can get him on.
Oh my God, we have more than 10,000.
We
could do that show.
Yeah, we ought to have
Jeffrey Combs. Well,
I've seen him come on shows. He's cool. He's very cool too. He'd have a good time on our show. We'd have to stay sober though. He'd probably get. Although that bitch was fucking drinking his ass off on the show he was on.
We can all drink.
We all just drink and fucking talk about movies. Yeah,
I do. I love everything he's been in.
I'll bring him on. I'll get him on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 10.
Yeah.
Videodrome.
Fucking classic.
1983.
Yeah.
Again, David Cronenberg, man.
Yeah.
I mean.
Well, this also had Deborah Harry in it. And it was just a creepy,
Videodrome was kind
creepy,
of a thing.
Creepy fucking movie.
It was a concept that was way ahead of its time.
It's about a dude who had videotaped all of his conversations and had them kept in a damn library, and he had a foundation that was going around getting homeless people to show them video, and in the video was a signal that could fucking hijack your brain and get you to not know the difference between reality and video images. And when you went to ask the dude any question, I forgot what his name was, he talked to you in videotape, and fucking a dude finds this signal who works at a television station, and fucking and the signal's being broadcast through a channel called Videodrome, which is torture porn, but it's real torture like BDSM porn, and the signal's coming through, and it's getting him addicted, and they turn him into an assassin. It's fucking bizarre.
I mean, pretty ahead of its time.
He's kind of like a James Bond type figure for this fucking cult to try to take over the world, and man, it's just fucking weird. Hides the gun inside his stomach, fucking pulls his hand out of his stomach.
Yeah,
He's got a bomb on the end, putting videotapes inside of his stomach. You don't know what's real and what's not.
David Cronenberg is very into technology merged with organic, body anatomy. So, I mean, if you've seen Existence, if you've seen any of his later movies, he's very into, like...
Tila says she's going to watch it this weekend. I think she's talking about Video Journal.
You should. Oh, I mean, everybody should see Video Journal.
Yeah, it's got to see that one. That was just... It'll kind of disorient you. It's very creepy. Okay, number 9, American Werewolf in London. That's 1981. That was a good one. That's pretty good. I like this movie.
This is like, it's weird because it's like a horror comedy, kind of, I guess.
Yeah. About some guys that fucking, American dudes that go to London and fucking get bit by a werewolf and he comes back to the United States.
Well, one of them gets bit by a werewolf.
Yeah, one of them does. And fucking, and he's weird.
And
it's weird.
The nice thing about it, my favorite thing about it is that the character that gets bit by the werewolf and he dies... And then he comes back as a ghost. Yeah. And the more he comes back, he's like more and more fucking rotted. Like
what I thought was weird is that the kid that gets bit by a fucking werewolf and turns into a werewolf, he's a Jewish kid. So he's constantly having these nightmares of these damn Nazi werewolves. And they look fucking cool as shit because they show them in the movie. Fucking werewolves in Nazi outfits. It's with machine guns and shit. It's pretty fucking cool.
I mean, easily the best werewolf movie.
Yeah. Okay,
all right, so number 8, The Changeling.
This was a fucking great
1980.
flick.
George C. Scott was
George C. Scott.
And I love haunted house movies. I love ghost movies.
Yeah.
This is one of the best ones. And this is one of the best ones because it doesn't show a lot.
Yeah, it's a very slow burn, but it's kind of spooky. It was way ahead of its time. It's taking place in this fucking awesome looking kind of house that's supposed to be haunted. And you're watching this thing and you go, man, that's a fantastic house. Turns out you find out later, if you ever read anything about the movie, that was a set. But I was convinced it was a house.
I thought it was too.
And when they showed him outside, it wasn't a house. It was just a facade of a house. But they will convince you that happened in a house. But it's George C. Scott in a fucking in a fucking haunted house movie. It's very good. He chews up all the scenery, does his fucking patent voice, and it's just fucking awesome. And then he's kind of doing he's kind of doing an investigation. He tries to find out why he's being haunted. That's fucking really what the movie's about.
The cool thing about The Changeling is that it's kind of like they do a lot with a little, because the thing about it is like the setting is doing a lot of the heavy lifting. But the thing about it is that if you can take a movie where a red ball coming down the stairs is scary, then you have succeeded. Yeah. In my estimation, because it's like it's hard to do, but like the way they set it up is really, really, really creepy. And the fact that they cast George C. Scott in it is significant because he was like this dude. He played Patton. He played all these like big fucking scary characters, and the fact that he was acting scared in the shit, that made you want to be scared also. Yeah.
Okay, now number 7 is Dead Ringers, 1988. This was a great flick.
David Cronenberg.
One of the prettiest movies you can see, actually. Dead Ringers. The way it's filmed, the color palette and everything. It looked great.
I love Dead Ringers. This is probably my favorite David Cronenberg movie. I mean, it depends on the day. But I love Dead Ringers just because... And we did a show a long time ago about the brothers that this was based on. The 2 gynecologists, and they kind of went nuts and died of. It was based overdoses.
On a real story,
sort of, but it's loosely.
But really, what was great about this movie is just the way it looked, the way it was shot. For me, you know what I mean.
And Jeremy Irons
and the color palette was really good.
Playing the twins was astounding. You really believed that those were 2 different people.
It's a very classy looking, high quality movie for a horror movie. Okay, the next one would be number 6, Aliens.
No, number 5.
No, you didn't. No, you passed Aliens. Number 6, Aliens. Number 6, 1986.
Aliens.
Yeah, Aliens was good. That was Alien 2. That pretty much goes without saying. Everybody's seen this movie.
I mean, I like Alien better, but
yeah.
Aliens is also fantastic.
One of the things that really, not only is this a fantastic story, one of the things that really stands out to me is all the props. There was no CGI. Sure. They actually did build fucking armored vehicles, and they built guns that actually shot out of Thompson submachine guns inside of kits. Made up uniforms for the Marines. They made the whole fucking Hadley's Hope fucking compound and got away. It was just a very, it really made you feel like you were there, you know. And then of course there's aliens, and there's a lot of them, and they're shooting them up. Thing is that it is some people would call it a horror movie. It was also very much like an action movie too. It's like a crossbreed.
I debated whether I was gonna, because some of the movies that I put on here, I was kind of like, is this really a horror movie? And I'm like, I didn't really do it. But Aliens, it's sci-fi horror, I guess. So it's
Tila,
kind of like
Tila, you'd like Dead Ringers. It's good. It's about these twins.
It's psychological horror.
Twins that are gynecologists that are fucking losing their goddamn minds. It's pretty good.
I mean, if you like David Cronenberg, you would like it.
Number 3. I'm not sure.
No, number 5.
Number 5, excuse me. This is called The Hunger,
The
1983.
Hunger, 1983.
Yeah, this actually...
Easily my favorite vampire movie of all time.
Had Bauhaus in the opening.
David Bowie is
David Bowie's in it.
Catherine Deneuve is in it.
Yeah.
Bauhaus are in it.
Yeah.
If you were a goth, this is your quintessential... This is the quintessential goth movie.
It was one of the first goth movies, I think.
It might have been. I can't really think. Honestly, when I was a kid, I watched this movie over and over and over again because I couldn't believe it.
Vampires, basically. Lesbian vampires.
Susan Sarandon is in it.
Yeah, lesbian vampires.
You get to see Catherine Deneuve and Susan Sarandon make out.
Yeah, and David Bowie in that.
David Bowie is in there.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so good. Like Bauhaus does music. Yeah. It's so good.
Okay, number 4, Fright Night, 1985. This is a classic, man. It's a good feel-good horror movie. Loved it when I was young.
Number 4, Fright Night from 1985. This is a horror comedy, and it's basically about, like, Roddy McDowall's in it, and he's fantastic. And it's like this fucking movie about this vampire moves into this house next door to this teenager, and he notices that there's a vampire, and he's trying to, like, talk everybody into, hey, there's a vampire next door that's killing people, and nobody believes him. And it's sort of like a horror comedy. It's so good.
For me, I always thought this was kind of a lighter-hearted version.
It's so well done.
I thought this was a lighter-hearted version of, say, like Salem's Lot. It had a very 80s fucking... kind of like Gremlins-y kind of a feel to it. It's like,
it's a feel-good, fun.
It's like something that Spielberg would have made. It's a great movie. Okay, number 3, Creep Show, 1982.
Yeah. You guys know I love horror anthologies.
Good horror anthology.
Creep Show, easily the best horror anthology ever made.
Really good. Okay, number 2, 1982, The Thing.
The Thing.
This is a fucking classic. My dad took me to see it 3 times back when it came out. And this movie here fucking changed my life because I was fucking scared about that there could be an alien that could fucking come. First I saw The Blob, about an alien coming down on a down.
Wait, the original or the remake?
The original.
Oh, okay.
Saw the original when an alien came down inside a meteorite, and that worried me. Then I saw this other alien come down that absorbs you and could turn you into anything. Blew my fucking mind. That was the beginning of me fucking knowing who Kurt Russell was. That was the beginning of the Krusell Sphere. And Keith David fucking impressed the shit out of me out of that movie. The Keith David Krusell dynamic.
I should say, if you haven't, like, I had to leave it off the list, but if you haven't seen the remake of The Blob from the 1980s, you should probably see it because the remake of The Blob was pretty fantastic. Yeah. And it's, like, super gory.
Okay, number 1.
Number 1, dude.
We know what this is. We know what number 1's going to be.
Bitch.
Number 1's The Shining, 1980. That's for the 80s.
This is the movie from the 80s that I never get tired. Like, bitch, if you said to me today, like right now, do you want to watch The Shining? Sure.
Yeah, you can watch that at any time, any place. Where's the?
Oh no! Working? Did it crash?
No, there it is.
Please tell me it didn't crash.
I tried to move the damn.
I think it crashed again.
That's something.
I think it crashed again.
There we go. No.
Don't get too excited.
I'm trying to move the
don't
fucking mouse.
Don't get excited because
she's telling me don't get excited.
Don't get excited because
how could moving the mouse crash the goddamn thing?
It's not. It doesn't have anything to do with the mouse. It's just
gonna crash. I'm gonna tell him.
Oh no. Oh no. We only got to the 90s.
I know it's going to crash.
On. Oh, come on.
No.
Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't.
Just let it go. Okay, then here's. Okay, now see if it scrolls up. There you go.
What? Stop.
All right.
All right.
There you go.
Hopefully.
All right, we're at the 1990s.
No,
now.
we were talking about like 1980s. Like I said, my number one, The Shining.
Yeah.
Easy. I mean, it was hard because like The Shining and The Thing, I love both of those equally. But if somebody said to me, "Hey, you want to watch The Shining today?"
Paul said that we used up all the RAM moving the cursor.
Yeah. If somebody said to me, "Hey, you want to watch The Shining?" I will watch The Shining any day you want to, like, fuck it. If you come to me, like, any random day, "Hey, you want to watch The Shining?" Sure, I'll sit down and watch it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
We got to keep moving, though. We're running out of time. 1990s.
We're not running out of time.
Yes, we are, Jenny. We have at least 30 more years of these things to do. I know that.
Did it crash?
Funny. Probably did.
It probably crashed.
It says, "Stop clicking."
He's fucking with it. Well, he's like touching stuff. And
well, I have to scroll up for the list. I think it damn.
Probably crashed.
I think it fucking crashed.
Maybe not. Oh, you know you're back.
Is it back? Is it back? Okay, it's back. I don't fucking
God.
know. I have to scroll the list up, okay, in order to see what the list is. But we have 30 more years of these. We can't talk much about each one. A couple lines. If not, we're going to be here for another 3 hours, and the audience isn't going to be able to hang with us. No, I'm just trying to keep us in touch with what's going on.
Ken says, "Life Force and The Hunger got me my first three-way."
Okay, 1990s. Number 20 got Kronos in 1993.
This was much easier. All right, so number 20, Kronos, 1993. This was a very early Guillermo del Toro movie about a vampire, but also they had like the weird thing of like a fucking clockwork bug type of thing that like made you into a vampire. So if you haven't seen Kronos, you should probably check that out. It's very, very, if you like Guillermo del Toro, like check
Ken
it out.
Fetters says defrag the computer after the show. Said it might do it.
Yeah, I've done
okay,
that
number 19
Castle Freak. 1995. Sort of based on an H.P. Lovecraft story, The Outsider. Jeffrey Combs is in it. Barbara Crampton is in it. And it's good. We've done like a review.
It's pretty good. It's not one of my favorite movies, but it's pretty good. I like it.
But that's why it's like number 19.
Yeah.
Like I'm into it, but not that into it.
This is another good one. 18, Body Bags.
Body Bags, 1993. This is an anthology. John Carpenter.
Thanks, Ken, for throwing some love our way.
John Carpenter did this shit, and I don't know. Like I don't know. I have a lot of affection for Body Bags. Mark Hamill's in there. It's like, you know, there's the fucking story about like David Warner is in it. It's like the fucking dude was like the dude that was growing all the hair. It's just fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I like this one.
Fucking Pat Heffa goes, "We can hear you. Your image doesn't have to move." Pat, you're dealing with Jenny, and you're dealing with a drunk Jenny. When she sees that shit freezing, she's gonna go, that's what it is.
Well,
it's okay.
I get angry because shit is not working the way
look,
I am expecting it to work.
Ken sent us some fucking flash bulbs, and it still hasn't appeared right there. I don't know. That might have frozen.
Oh my god! Did it really?
I think the chat has frozen.
This is really annoying me. This is annoying me.
Okay.
Well, we're gonna keep talking.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
I think they can hear us. All right.
So 18, we were at Body Bags.
Okay, now number 17, Bride of Reanimator.
Bride of Reanimator, 1990.
Yeah.
Not as good as Reanimator, obviously, because nothing is.
I liked it.
But it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
It's still pretty good. You know, what are you gonna do? You know, it's a worthy follow-up.
Yeah. Okay, now number 16, Interview with a Vampire.
Interview with a Vampire.
That was a classic
94.
Movie. Classy vampire movie. It's pretty cool.
Probably the only thing that I've liked Tom Cruise in.
Yeah. All right, number 15, The Frighteners. That's 1996.
That's your favorite.
I like this movie. It was one of my favorites. This was kind of like the Back to the Future of horror movies. And it's where Michael J. Fox plays a paranormal investigator, but he actually he can actually communicate with ghosts and he has a bunch of ghost friends, and they run around and fucking haunt houses, and then he charges the inhabitants money so he can exorcise or pretend to exorcise his friendly ghosts. Well, while they're out there, they find a very unfriendly ghost that they have to deal with. And then, I think his name is, I forgot what his name was, Michael J. Fox's character. He kind of has a dark past. He's kind of like a Marty McFly gone wrong. But it's a very good movie. Didn't get any play back in 96. But if you watch the full version, there's a director's cut. It's much better than the theatrical cut. You can see it on Blu-ray. It's a hidden gem.
It's one of those movies that's like hard to classify. It's kind of like, it's like a comedy, but a horror movie. And it's kind of like, I don't know. It's like, it's in that weird like gray area.
Yeah.
Number 14, In the Mouth of Madness.
Yeah, it's a good
1994.
Movie. That's kind of a fucking Lovecraftian movie. That wasn't Carpenter, was it? Who did that? Mouth of Madness.
Boo. You know what?
I don't
did
think it was. Maybe it was.
It might have been.
Might have been Carpenter. I don't know, but it was.
Movie. Yeah, it's Lovecraftian, but not based on a Lovecraft story per se.
Yeah.
So it kind of has that vibe to it, but not essentially. Like we did a review on that as well. Yeah. Number 13, Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah, the 1992 one. It's good.
Which we've done a review on that as well.
Everybody
like I said, other than Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder's questionable British accents.
Yeah. Actually, Badger said that was Carpenter for In the Mouth of Madness. I thought it was too. Bram Stoker's Dracula was it's a classic for 92.
I will say that it is, of the adaptations of Dracula, of which there have been hundreds, probably one of the most, the closest adaptations to the novel. Still not exactly the same, but close.
Still pretty good, though.
But I wish they would have used more British actors. Yeah. Like I said,
Number 12, Scream, 1996.
This movie,
oh, no, this one.
I like this movie, and I understand how important it was, because Scream from 1996 kind of kicked off the whole ironic meta horror boom of the late 90s and early 2000s, which I'm not a fan of, I have to say. But I did think that Scream, directed by Wes Craven, was very well done, because it was kind of like the first one to do that shit. And so I'm not going to blame him. Thank you, Ken.
Yeah, that was funny, because that was from a long time ago, so the chat was way behind.
Yeah, so I kind of feel like I don't want to shit on, like, I liked Scream as a movie, but I kind of feel like I don't like it because it encouraged all of the shit that came later, like in the late 90s and early 2000s. Like, hey, we're going to make all these like meta horror movies where it's like self-referential and it's like all this. And I didn't really like that.
Yeah.
So I'll blame it for that, but he was kind of the first one to do it, and he was like, but so I'm not going to like blame him for that. He didn't know. Okay,
number 11, The Exorcist 3. Don't touch that.
What?
Don't touch that.
No,
because
I have
you'll freeze the screen.
I won't.
You'll freeze the screen.
I have to scroll down because I have... Yeah, I do.
You can see all of them to one. Just let it go.
It doesn't have anything to do with me scrolling. Seriously. So, number 11.
Yeah.
Exorcist 3.
Exorcist 3, 1990.
Which we've also done a review.
This is a really good movie, and it's also really a great standalone. You don't have to see the other Exorcist movies.
It really doesn't have anything
George
to do with
C.
the
Scott in this, really good acting. Fucking script is fantastic.
Brad Dourif is in this.
Had a good, real good jump scare in it a couple times. Just good story, really good. And like I said, you don't even need to see Exorcist 1 or 2. I think Exorcist 2 was a bomb, from what I remember. I think that's not
Exorcist 2 was kind of terrible.
Yeah. Okay, number 10, The Blair Witch Project. That's
Blair
1999.
I will give it... Yeah. Okay, so there had been found footage movies before this. Hello, Cannibal Holocaust. But Blair Witch Project was kind of like the first one to do it for a mainstream thing. And I will give Blair Witch Project the props for getting onto early internet shit. Like, making a whole website and like pretending the shit was real, like almost like an alternate reality game type of shit. So I will give them credit for doing that shit. And also, I saw Blair Witch Project in the theater, and honestly, I knew it was fake, but they did a really good job of giving you that verisimilitude. They really made you feel like it was a real thing that was happening, and it was a real urban legend. And if you bought into it, then it was super scary, I thought.
Yeah, Attila, that Brad Dourif scene was fucking awesome from Exorcist 3. That was a really good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we freeze again?
It's freezing, but they can still hear us. Okay.
Good Lord.
Number 9.
Ravenous. 1990.
Yeah.
Now, if you guys... Or 1999, rather.
Yeah.
If you guys are crying for movies about Wendigos, please see Ravenous. Why is this popping up?
I don't know.
This happened? Okay.
I don't know why that happened. Oh, something just popped up in front of everything. Okay, hold on.
Oh my god. Can I pee, or are you just going to take over? Or?
I'm just trying to fix it for you.
You're not going to fix anything.
Okay, go ahead.
You don't really know what's going on.
I don't really know what's going on.
No,
go ahead.
You don't.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
But
Trying to figure out what the hell's going on here. Okay, it's back. It's back. All right, she went to the restroom, and yeah, we're having problems. The computer's fucking freezing up. Computer's freezing up. I'm trying to move the show as quickly as I can because we still have a lot to do. And Jenny's had a bit to drink, so we're gonna see. Looks like it's frozen. Can you guys still hear me? Okay, you guys can still hear me. Yeah, I'm having serious trouble on this end. It's just like that's freezing and that's freezing. So we're having computer problems. We may have to restart the stream. Can you guys still hear me? It's getting really, really glitchy. It's back now. But I'm not sure if it'll make it.
Is it on? Or
I think it's on.
Are people still commenting?
They say, yeah, they say the video's working. They can hear us.
Jesus Christ. All right. Where the fuck are we?
We were at...
Exorcist 3. Blair Witch
Army
Project.
of Darkness is next.
Okay, so we talked about... Holy fucking shit, dude. What did you do?
I didn't do anything.
Okay. All kind of weird shit has happened.
I didn't touch anything.
Okay, so like I said, Blair Witch Project, good found footage movie. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of found footage, but that was a good one.
We went to Ravenous already.
Number 9, Ravenous.
Yeah.
If you guys have not seen Ravenous, I saw this in the theater back in 1999. I don't think people realized that it was supposed to be...
Yeah, she does have a lot of windows open.
A black comedy. So it's about... It's set during the, what do you call it? The fucking War of 1812, I think. And I don't think people got that it was like, one, it's based on the Wendigo legend. Like, hey, like somebody that eats people because they had to, like they turn into a monster, which was like a Native American legend. And so they took that and then they like ran with it. And I don't think people realized that it was supposed to be, like, funny. I don't know. Like, I saw it in the theater, and I thought it was hilarious. But, like, a lot of people that I was in the theater with did not really seem to think it was hilarious. So I thought I was, like, a weirdo.
Yeah.
I thought it was very funny. But,
okay.
I don't know. Maybe I have, like, a weird sense of humor.
Okay, number 8. Army of Darkness. That's 1992.
But see Ravenous if you haven't seen it. Army of Darkness, 1992. Right. Obviously, the third movie in the Evil Dead trilogy. Yeah. Probably my least favorite. Because I didn't like the medieval setting as much, but still fucking awesome. It's still fucking funny. I mean, Bruce Campbell, he can do no wrong as far as I'm concerned. He's fucking hilarious. He's awesome.
Okay, number 7, Jacob's Ladder. That's 1990.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't really like that one. I thought that one was kind of boring, but yeah, okay. And then
man, that's a good one.
All right, number 6, The Craft, 1996.
This is a classic. You missed one. Number 5, Misery.
No, we didn't. Number 6, The Craft.
Number 6. Oh, okay.
Number
The Craft,
6, The Craft,
1996, which we also did a review of.
Yeah. Okay.
Witchcraft, all right.
Number 5, Misery, 1990. That was a Stephen King adaptation.
Yep. Novel's good too.
Yeah, the novel's really good too.
Oh, we froze up.
No, I think we're still good.
Are we?
Looks like it. Okay.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, this computer needs to be reset. All right.
Yeah, well, I've done that.
We've been streaming for hours, and he could be right that we need to defrag this computer. Okay. The next one would be number 4.
Wait, we did that.
We did Misery.
So Misery. Okay. Number 4. Stir of Echoes.
Yeah.
1999. Now, this was based on. We did a review of it. This is based on a novella by Richard Matheson. This came out pretty much exactly the same time as, what was that fucking M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong fucking movie?
I don't know.
The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
So it came out pretty much, I think it came out the same day.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone was kind of like, well, we want to see the ghost movie. We'll see this big ghost movie that came out, which is
I got to bring Pookie in. It's 10 o'clock.
And so nobody saw Stir of Echoes, which to me, and we did a review of it, and I was kind of like bummed out about it because I'm like, look, this Stir of Echoes was, I'm going to say objectively, a better movie than The Sixth Sense. The Sixth Sense was a good movie too, but I kind of feel like the thing about The Sixth Sense is that once you already know the twist, because that's kind of his thing, I don't know if it's as enjoyable. Stir of Echoes, to me, is creepier, just even if you already know how it's going to go. And like I said, this is based on a Richard Matheson novel, which is also creepy. I don't know, like, I was just more scared by Stir of Echoes, the movie, than I was by The Sixth Sense. Your mileage may vary. But I'm just saying they came out at the same time, and I was kind of bummed that it didn't get as much attention. So I always kind of try to plug it to people. So that's why it's like so far up on my list. Also because I really like that movie a lot. So Stir of Echoes, 1999. Number 3, I'm going to go with Cemetery Man, 1994. Also known as Della Morte Dell'Amore. We reviewed this not too long ago. Did you find her?
Couldn't find her.
Well, you didn't look that hard, did you?
I can't.
I
can't. We have to finish up the show.
All right. So
where are you at now?
Number 3.
Okay.
Cemetery Man.
All right. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna end it here, and then next week we'll continue with the rest of the stuff because we won't be able to make it. That's another couple hours.
All right.
All right. So, guys, we're gonna finish up with the 90s, and then next week we're gonna do the 2000, 2010, and 2020. All right. So we're gonna end it here in a few more minutes. Okay.
Yeah, we can't really. We gotta go find the chat.
Shit we gotta do, and the computer's giving us problems.
And
We've been online for
the computer keeps like crashing.
I
I don't even know if you guys are like seeing the shit.
Yeah, they're seeing it.
Okay.
And most of them are still here.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Like I said, number 3, Cemetery Man. We've done like a thing about that.
Yeah.
Number 2, I'm gonna give you Silence of the Lambs, 1991, which won like fucking all the Oscars that year. Yeah. I've read the book as well. It's just a really good story. It's something I've seen a million times. It's just like all the acting in it, fantastic. It's like just a really, really good movie. Number 1.
This is the number 1 for the 1990s.
Candyman,
1992. This is one of Jenny's favorite 90s movies. This
is my favorite 90s. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of competition, but
it's a well-crafted flick. It came out of fucking left field back in the 90s. Like we were hearing about it, and then we went and rented it, and we were like, man, that was some wild shit. It was its own thing.
Well, that's why I like it.
Yeah.
It went in its own direction.
Yeah.
And
it was kind of like a higher class version of Freddy.
I like that they went in, and I like too that they kind of set it in kind of a quote unquote ghetto sort of area. It was like it was something that you didn't see a lot. Thanks,
Badger. Appreciate it. Badger just sent us 10 pounds.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. It was something that you didn't really see a lot, particularly in the 90s. And so I feel like maybe, I don't know, like maybe I'd seen some shit before that. But like this was one of the first big movies that I'd seen that was set in that environment. And it was kind of like, I don't know, it was just kind of like a new take on it. I liked the whole urban legend aspect. I liked the whole fucking Tony Todd, and it was amazing. So...
Dude's got a fantastic voice.
Yeah, and so, as I said, if they remake it, I'm not averse to them remaking it, but I kind of feel like Tony Todd has to be in there somewhere.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the end of the list for today.
I mean, I still got 2000s and 2010s.
We're gonna finish those on next Wednesday, which you guys will we'll have fun then. Is there anything you guys want to say before we check off? You can fucking tell us in the fucking comment section.
We didn't even get to the Elisa Lamb stuff or the Nostradamus stuff.
I'm telling you, Jenny.
Talk about the Nostradamus stuff.
We got we don't have time, Jenny. It's getting late, and we've been on for a long time, and we can do all that stuff next. Jenny has a tendency to like prepare notes for the show that are like 6 times larger than you actually need.
It's because I don't know.
Even for a 4-hour show.
Because sometimes
it only takes a little
bit.
When
I talk about stuff, like I'll talk about stuff and he'll just look at me like, and I won't have, and I'll be like, okay, so I have to like talk about other stuff. So I don't really know if he's going to like go off on the stuff. Yeah. Or if he's not going to go off on stuff. So I don't really know. So I have to kind of like to be prepared.
They're in there talking about Mama Waldy and Blackula and shit like that. Yeah, fucking. I wish they would bring Blackula back. I don't think they could bring it back in today's PC type thing. With that name. They'd have to change the title. They'd have to change the title.
No, they wouldn't. But so? I just kind of feel like nobody but that dude could play that role.
Yeah, it's true. All right, guys. It's. We
didn't even talk about the Elisa Lamb show. We didn't talk about it.
We'll have to talk about it next time. Okay, well, it's thanks for joining us tonight. If you like the show, please like, share, and subscribe. If you can drop us a line on Facebook, and we're on Instagram too. Is there anything else you need to say, Jenny?
Well, I don't think so.
Okay, well, we'll see you guys. When are we streaming next?
Well, Saturday we're doing the main show.
Yeah. Okay,
which is about the Source family.
Okay, so there's nothing Friday. Okay, so we'll see you guys Saturday.
And then Sunday, we're doing a matinee show. Okay. Oh, shit. Like, it froze up again. Oh, my God.
We'll see you guys.
Seriously, don't push that. Don't push that.
All right. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just trying to...
Wait.
What?
I don't know. Like, it...
No.
It disappeared. It disappeared.
It disappeared. The computer's glitching out like a motherfucker.
Oh, my God.
We've been on for
Why?
hours. Okay,
Why?
Look, I gotta find the cat.
Why? All right, so I don't know. I had a lot of shit I want to talk about, but whatever. We'll talk about it like some other time. I don't know. My shit froze. Yeah. Whatever. Hopefully you guys are still seeing me and hearing me. We will be back on Saturday. We're going to talk about the Source family cult, and we're going to be talking about maybe some other cults too. I don't really know. We'll find out when we get there. But thanks for tuning in, and I'm gonna seriously, we only got up to the 90s. I have a list for the 2000s and the 2010s up until now, so we'll get into that later. But thanks everybody for dropping by. Sorry about like all the fucking drop-offs. Shit happens. We will see you guys on Saturday, hopefully. Oh shit, it froze again. We'll see you guys on Saturday, hopefully. And that'll do it for today's show. Please come back on Saturday. And we will see you then. Bye.